This is Ola, man of prestige, your favorite relationship and marriage coach. If you enjoyed this, smash that like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs it. Be a part of the Prestige family. My wife, Lola, and I have written 2 powerful books, Get My Marriage Back and Number 1 Red Flag, yours free at manofprestige.com. For personal coaching, send me a WhatsApp request for consultation to +1 732 305 8577. Stay tuned for more. Your journey to love and prestige starts here.
Ẹni tó fi ìtẹ́ ọba sílẹ̀ wá fàyè ṣẹlẹ̀ o. Orin tó dùn láò kọ láò pè láò fi kí ọ káàbọ̀. Ìfẹ́ tó pọ̀ kí ló mú wa kí a máa yọ̀. Ìfẹ́ tó ga jù, tó ga jù. Ìfẹ́ tó pọ̀ kí ló mú wa kí a máa yọ̀. Ìfẹ́ tó ga jù.
I teach from total beginner to 3-mission star chef.
Ibi gbogbo akọjá lọ́wọ́ kan gba mẹ́sàlá. Ó jẹ́ tó bára mi lọ́wọ́ kan tẹ̀tẹ̀ mi tán. Igi ló yẹ fẹ́lẹ́ tó máa rìn ọba. Ọ̀pẹ ló yẹ fẹ́lẹ́ tó máa rìn ọba. Ọ̀pọ̀ ẹgbẹ́ mi ti kú, ọ̀pọ̀ ẹgbẹ́ mi ti lọ. Ọ̀pọ̀ ló wà lẹ́kọ̀ọ́, ọ̀pọ̀ ló ṣe fáin báyìí dúdú. Èmi yóò dúpẹ́ o, ó ṣòro fọ́ba, ó ti ṣe tìjì lọ́dún. Èèmọ̀ gbàgbé bí ọmọ rẹ̀ rárá o. Èmi yóò máa dúpẹ́ ọlọ́run. Òrè tó ló gba láṣẹ fún bí ọgbà yóò lè ṣe. Èmi yóò dúpẹ́. Èmi yóò dúpẹ́. Òrè tó ló gba láṣẹ fún bí ọgbà yóò lè ṣe. Èmi yóò dúpẹ́. Orí bí wọ́n máa ń yá àwọn kan ká lọ sára. Oye tó máa rà mí lọ́nà wọn kò jẹ́ tẹ̀lé tó. Ìyè ló yẹ fẹ́lẹ́ tó máa rìn ọ̀rọ̀. Ọ̀pẹ ló yẹ fẹ́lẹ́ tó máa rìn lọ́ba. Ọ̀pọ̀ ẹgbẹ́ mi ti kú, ọ̀pọ̀ ẹgbẹ́ mi ti lọ. Ọ̀pọ̀ ló wà lẹ́wọ̀n, ọ̀pọ̀ ló ṣe fáìlà àdúgbò. Èmi yóò máa dúpẹ́ ọlọ́run. Ó ṣòro fọ́nká ó ti ṣe tìbí lọ. Èèmọ̀ gbàgbé ní ọmọ rẹ̀ lọ́wọ́. Èmi yóò máa dúpẹ́ ọlọ́run. Òrè tó lè gbẹ́nà ṣe fún mi ọ̀pá yóò lè ṣe. Èmi yóò dúpẹ́. Èmi yóò dúpẹ́. Èmi yóò dúpẹ́. Òrè tó lè gbẹ́nà ṣe fún mi ọ̀pá yóò lè ṣe. Èmi yóò dúpẹ́. Eva mi gege, eva mi gege, eva mi gege. Eva mi gege suya o baba baba. Eva mi gege, eva mi gege, eva mi gege. Eva mi gege suya o baba baba. Eva mi gege, eva mi gege, eva mi gege. Eva mi gege suya o baba baba. Eva mi gege, eva mi gege, eva mi gege. Eva mi gege suya o baba. Botina. Eva mi gege, eva mi gege, eva mi gege. Eva mi gege suya o baba baba. Eva mi gege, eva mi gege, eva mi gege. Eva mi gege suya o baba baba. Eva mi gege, eva mi gege. Eva mi gege suya o baba baba. Eva mi gege, eva mi gege, eva mi gege. Eva mi gege suya o baba baba. Eva mi chuba, Eva mi wọlé fún o, ètò ọkọ̀ ìjọ, ìwọ nìkan lọ fọlọ́. Ẹ bá mi júbà rẹ̀, ẹ bá mi wọlé fún o, Jésù ọkọ̀ ìjọ, ìwọ nìkan lọ fọlọ́. Ẹ bá mi júbà rẹ̀, ẹ bá mi wọlé fún o, Jésù ọkọ̀ ìjọ, ìwọ nìkan lọ fọlọ́. Ẹ bá mi júbà rẹ̀, ẹ bá mi wọlé fún o, Jésù ọkọ̀ ìjọ, ìwọ nìkan lọ fọlọ́. Ó ní pé èmi yóò lọ wò bàbá. Èmi yóò lọ wò bàbá. Oríire pọ̀ bàbá o, oríire pọ̀ ọmọ, oríire láyé mi, gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọmọ o. Èmi yóò lọ wò bàbá. Èmi yóò lọ wò bàbá. Orere pọ̀ bàbá, orere pọ̀ ọmọ, orere láyé mi, gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọmọ o. Èmi ò bàbá. Ó ní màfọwọ́ mi ìyá ló. Màfọ́ tí mo ní ìyá bàbá o. Eré kí ló lè jẹ́ fún mi? Nígbà tí mo bá ti wọ̀nú ilẹ̀ náà, erúpẹ̀ ilẹ̀ òkú lè yíyá lógogo bàbá mi mọ́. Ó yá bá bèrè o, àfọwọ́ mi ìyá lógo. Àfọwọ́ tí mo ní ìyá bàbá o. Èrè kí ló lè jẹ́ fún mi? Nígbà tí mo bá ti wọ̀nú ilẹ̀ náà, erúpẹ̀ ilẹ̀ òkú lè yíyá lógogo bàbá mi. Eruba ilẹ̀ ògùn lè yíyan lógo ṣe. Eruba ilẹ̀ ògùn lè yíyan lógo. Eruba ilẹ̀ ògùn lè yíyan lógo ṣe. Eruba ilẹ̀ ògùn lè yíyan lógo. Ó ní èmi máa ń ẹgbẹ̀rún ahọ́n fún yín Olùgbàlà. Oko rán bá mi ìṣẹ́gun oore rẹ̀. Bàbá mi àtọlọ́run mi, fún mi ní ọ̀rẹ́. Kí lè rúkọ gbogbo ayé lọ́nà orúkọ rẹ̀. Yolúwa, 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 Yolúwa. Yíyá bá ní ìfẹ́kù, ilẹ̀ mi. Yíyá bá ní ìfẹ́kù, bóyá ẹ fi ọpẹ́ fún Olúwa wọn. Torí àánú rẹ̀ dúró láíláí. Ẹ fi ọpẹ́ fún Olúwa wọn. Torí àánú rẹ̀ dúró láíláí. Pariwo sókè. Ẹ fi ọpẹ́ fún Olúwa wọn. Torí àánú rẹ̀ dúró láíláí. Ẹ fi ọpẹ́ fún Olúwa wọn. Torí àánú rẹ̀ dúró. Àní pé ẹ fi ọpẹ́ fún Olúwa wọn. Torí àánú rẹ̀ dúró lọ́la. Èmi ọpẹ́ fún Olúwa wọn. Torí àánú rẹ̀ dúró lọ́la. Ẹ fi ọpẹ́ fún Olúwa wọn. Torí àánú rẹ̀ dúró lọ́la. Ẹ fi ọpẹ́ fún Olúwa wọn. Torí àánú rẹ̀ dúró láíláí. Lọ́ba wa mírèkù, lọ́lúwa fi lè tèmi ṣe. Lọ́ba wa mírèkù, lọ́lúwa fi lè tèmi ṣe. Lọ́ba wa mírèkù, lọ́lúwa fi lè tèmi ṣe. Lọ́ba wa mírèkù, lọ́lúwa fi lè. Torí bẹ́ẹ̀, ó borí sí mi lẹ́nu, ó ní kí n máa kọ́ lọ. Ó fi dé sí mi lẹ́sẹ̀, ó ní kí n máa jó níṣó. Ó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí mi lọ́kàn, ayọ̀ ayérayé o. Bàbá mi lè kú, lọ́lúwa mi lè tèmi ṣe. A nílò bàbá mi lè kú, lọ́lúwa mi lè tèmi ṣe. Bàbá mi lè kú, bàbá mi lè kú, lọ́lúwa mi lè tèmi ṣe. Bàbá mi lè kú, lọ́lúwa mi lè tèmi ṣe. Ó wọlé sí mi lẹ́nu, ó ní kí n máa kọ́ lọ. Ó fi yọ sí mi lẹ́sẹ̀, ó ní kí n máa jó níṣó. Ó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí mi lọ́kàn, ayọ̀ ayérayé o. Bàbá mi lè kú, lọ́lúwa mi lè tèmi ṣe. Ó yẹ wọn náà, èmi lọ.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Good to see you. Hello, Marriott. Hello, Natu. I see you all on the chat. Do me a favor, hit the like button. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. We have a fantastic show lined up for you today, as usual. We're going to learn a ton. And yes, if you ever find out that you hit the mobile vertical version, I will try to always post it into the chat so you can always view it. You can always click over to the full experience from there. So it's kind of weird, something that StreamYard is testing out, I guess. I don't know if this is going to hurt our channel or not. Hopefully not. But it's like two live streams going on at the same time. One is for people watching on the phone, and one is like full experience. You can see the whole thing. So we're testing it out. We'll see. So Maya says it looks weird on my TV. You probably stumbled into the vertical version of your TV. That's probably what it was. All right. How na day? How's everybody doing? Yes, today we're talking about this viral story that broke out on Twitter today. Everybody's been talking about it, so we're going to talk about that. We're going to continue to cover Regina Daniels and Ned NWOKO. We're going to continue to cover that, and also we're going to talk about Ijesha. Ijesha just got released from. He just got released from jail or from prison, right? So we're going to talk about that. And so we're going to talk about this guy, EZRA, and what's the other name? Max. We're going to talk about that story. The call is trendy as misogynistic on Twitter, also trending as Ikoyi Didi. Can you imagine? All right. So hopefully, let me see what's going on here. Hit the like button. Everybody help me hit the like button. Let me see. And help me hit the like button, share, subscribe, and hopefully we haven't been shadow banned. I'm going to try to look at what's going on. I'm looking at, I have to delete. Let me take a look. Let me delete that thing off of inside the chat. I'll remove it because that can actually get us shadow banned. Just go on the channel and look for the right live stream. All right, because people might just start tapping into. I need to be killing our visibility. Yeah. All right. So yeah, today is Friday. So Friday is not really the best days for us, but we're gonna make the best out of it. I just wanted to drop some of this content, and then we'll take it from there. So again, we're talking about this Ikoyi Didi of a kid, a 39-year-old grown man. Who just got exposed severely on the internet. So I'm going to be going through some of the stuff, and then I'll try to code my words as much as possible. So some of them are a little bit graphic. So we'll try to code them as much as possible so that we don't get into trouble. Okay. Guys, do me a favor. Help me hit the like button. Tell everybody that we're live. Okay. All right. So now let's get into it. I'm gonna pay a little bit of bill. Shout out to all the sponsors. My name is Ola, coming to you live from my Empire Pro Studios. What we do is we extract life and relationship lessons from trendy topics. Okay, so and I tackle them from a standpoint of self-power, social seduction, attraction, emotional intelligence standpoint. They tend to align very well with legal and legalities and stuff, but that's a process. So sometimes it might throw you off if you're stuck on legalities and things like that. You're probably gonna miss it because even when you go to court, it's a process. Okay, I heard a few talking points today that seems smart and intelligent on the surface, but when you dig in deeper, you realize that it's just noise. A lot of people are making noise on the internet. A lot of people repeat what they hear somewhere else, and it's just a waste, because when you apply it into real life, these things really fall flat on their face. Like, for example, talking points like the law does not pander to emotions.
On the surface level, it sounds intelligent, but it's stupid. Okay, because the reality is is that anything legal does incorporate moral conviction. Moral conviction is driven by a lot of things: societal values, human empathy. Another talking point that I saw somebody say, I mean, again, they sound intelligent on the surface, but you have to really dig in deeper, something that's required of all of us in life. Like if it was just about yes and no, everybody would just be passing in scores, right? People will be lasting in marriages longer, right? People will not be quitting in marriage in 6 months just because they get caught up in their feelings. So another talking point I heard today is that no morality in law. What do you mean? You mean after it's become law? But it started from somewhere because before it became law. Okay, human beings created them. Okay, let's just be careful what we tell ourselves out there. Again, a lot of talking points that just when they get tested out with life, they fall on their face. You know, they're useless. Anyway, without any further ado, we're just gonna go ahead and jump right in because today is it's Friday, so you guys might want to go and spend some time with family, friends, and things like that. And I'll be right back.
This is Ola, man of prestige, your favorite relationship and marriage coach. If you enjoyed this, smash that like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs it. Be a part of the Prestige family. My wife Lola and I have written 2 powerful books, Get My Marriage Back and Number 1 Red Flag, yours free at manofprestige.com. For personal coaching, send me a WhatsApp request for consultation to +1 732 305 8577. Stay tuned for more. Your journey to love and prestige starts here.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Again, this is Man of Prestige. Join the Prestige family. It's very, very easy. Just join the Prestige family by hitting the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications. All right, what we're talking about today. So we're talking about EZRA. His name is EZRA Olubi. You should be able to see his picture easily on the screen. His name is EZRA Olubi. It's a young man, co-founder at Paystack. So think about PayPal, right? The PayPal. In fact, thanks. I want to say shout out to Abby, who brought us a lot of information in the backstage earlier on. This was very useful information. Thank you to Abby. All right. So I'm just gonna read real quick. His name is EZRA Olubi. Is a co-founder of Paystack. Paystack was acquired by Stripe. Stripe is a company that I've used for years. We use them for credit card collection, money collection, online payment solution, basically like credit card merchant, all of that wrapped into one. They embed into your website and you're able to collect money. You can also collect money on a physical business as well. But Stripe purchased, they acquired a part. I don't know what the acquisition slip looked like, but basically there was an acquisition of Paystack by Stripe for $200 million. So of course, these kids are probably balling in Ikoyi somewhere, lots of money, but probably a lot of hard work because they created a company that obviously they deemed valuable. So it says acquisition means ownership shift, and whatever board control EZRA once had becomes diluted and even non-existent. Bottom line is, it was the chief technology officer of that company. It was one of the executives of that company. But today he got exposed all over the place. It's nasty, it's messy, you know. He got exposed for PDF type ality type, confused, all kind of craziness, you know. He got exposed. So I'm actually going to be going through some of that. What happened was there was a gbasgbos between him and some lady who brought her marriage into a relationship with him. She brought her wife into a relationship with him. I know it's probably just as confusing to you as it was for me in the beginning, but I'm going to read. So actually, techpoint.africa they published this. They said Paystack CTO EZRA OLUBI suspended over allegations of sexual misconduct involving a subordinate. OLUBI will remain suspended pending investigations. Paystack has suspended its co-founder. He's a co-founder and Chief Technology Officer EZRA OLUBI over allegations of sexual misconduct involving a subordinate. The suspension follows the resurfacing of several old posts on X that triggered widespread criticism online. In an email response to TechPoint Africa, Paystack confirmed the news of OLUBI's suspension, stressing that it takes such matters very seriously. And I quote, as of Thursday evening, November 13, 2025, EZRA has been suspended from all duties and responsibility pending a formal investigation in accordance. Now, what are they talking about? I don't want to bore you guys with English. What are they talking about? So I'm going to share this screen. Some of them might be disturbing, but I'll try to code them up a little bit. So let's look at some of the tweets that he's been exposed for. All right. Let me see. Under the what am I looking at? Marriott. I don't know what I'm looking at. You said under the prison sexual some. Anyway, Chinya, see you. Chinya, good to see you. All right. So these are some of the tweets that young man has been posting online for a while now, as far back as 2011. So let's go through it, and then you be the judge. This one says, just got disvirgined by... Okay, this is a girl posting this. Just got disvirgined by him. That's his handle. And I heard that he's since shut down his Twitter page, so you might not find anything up there. But anyway, just got disvirgined by him, EZRA, and somebody else was tagged, was beside me. Oh, so cool. And then he posted best sex ever. But of course, that's what I tell everybody I disvirgin. Okay, that's not too bad yet, right? Another one says, sometimes I just go on all fours and follow the cat around the house, blowing air on his anus. I hope we don't get shadow banned here today. It's already nasty. I don't know. Maybe his name is actually flagging the, who knows? But let's just get through it. It's just another day, okay? Another day. Now, just warning, trigger alert, they're disturbing, okay? Trigger alert, they are disturbing, just so you know. Another one says something. Okay, I already put that. This one says, my date last night called me a PDF. I told her that was an awful big word for a 12-year-old. Okay, this was posted back in 2010. Okay, clearly in 2010 would have been how many years ago? 20? How many years ago? 15 years ago. So he would have been what? About 24, 25 years old. Is that an excuse to post this kind of stuff? In due time, they hunt you down. Your behaviors in the past can hunt you down. So another one says, single, taking, and still touching my cat's nipples. And then he checked, still touching his cat's nipples. Okay, that's weird. All right, so they pulled up all the tweets because, again, he fell out with a lady ex who had brought her own wife into a relationship with him. And they were doing this. They were playing house. They call it Polycule. Okay. And I looked that up earlier on. I'm learning about that word for the first time too, because I know a couple of people said, including Mara, said they learned it for the first time. It's a combination of poly and molecule, right? Mm-hmm. Another tweet here says he's retweeting something. Sex with Jega, the INEC chairman, moans. Okay, actually, I'm not going to. Okay, all right. Let's keep it moving. Again, this guy is now a professional worth probably a couple of tens of millions of dollars. And then he's now, since yesterday, destroyed his life is destroyed now because of his past. So, and if you don't know anything about the corporate world, if they can cancel Kanye West, take away his $1 billion empire, just like that, just because he didn't know how to shut his mouth What do you think they're going to do a Nigerian young black man? What do you think is going to happen? Okay, so when you want to be free, just know that that can come at a cost. That's all. As long as you're okay with that, all of us, the rest of us, were also okay. Another one, he said, I really want to know what this tastes like. That is a picture of, looks like it's the legs of an animal. You know, as the balls, okay, I'm just going to leave that alone. Another one here, somebody's backside said, the fuck? What is this? He posted this. Okay, just basically being weird on the internet. Okay, another one said, let me wanking. Okay, that's weird. This boy has been weird for a long time. Another one says, just learned housemaids are the number 3 carriers of Hep B, right after cats and ex-girlfriends. Okay, it seems a little bit obsessed with cats, and I think I've seen another post about the hepatitis B. Anyway, another one says, save water, take a bath with your neighbors. Let's pause so that we don't get flagged. Daughter. Weirdo. Another one says, with the way I just looked at this young girl, I hope my daughter doesn't grow a pair of boobs till she turns 18. Okay. And then here is in the picture here, kissing the belly of a cat. Weirdo. Another one with two cats on his laps. And then he posted some love tonight. So apparently he had another handle in the past before he changed it. Okay, this was his old handle that he changed apparently. Okay, but you know they can always track you down. Okay, if you change your handle, there are tools, free tools on the internet to say, what did this person's handle used to be? Yes. Why? Because everybody must be held accountable. We don't have a choice. It's not self-accountability is a choice, but the other type of accountability is not a choice, especially for men. It is not a choice. All right, let's keep going. Another one says, in South Africa, grape is always the answer. Grape stopped appetite, cured AIDS. Now it's being tested on lesbians. Okay, this was posted with his brand new verified page at still around about, well, even if you change your handle, when they go pull up, there's records of all this stuff up there. There's paper trail of everything you say on the internet. That's really the lesson here, and I'm going to take that off my screen immediately. If you didn't see it, thank you, Jesus. Another one says, MTN keeps going down on you guys. I wish I were you guys, and MTN was a little, yeah, he's a weirdo. I'm not going to read that out. Let's just try to code as much as possible today, because this live stream is already shadow banned, so I don't want to make it worse. Okay, let's just have fun for the Prestige family. Somebody called this baby's mom to get her kid off me. On a second thought, not her mom. And then he goes, my huge money won't help the situation. He's a weirdo. Another one says, underage girls are always on his case. Is it the face or the brace? The society should be glad. Okay. I wonder if he lived in Nigeria always. Maybe he lived in the overseas at one point. I'm just wondering. No, I think he's a graduate of Babcock, they said, Babcock University. All right. Another one says, about 10 years from now, I'm going to be having sex with my wife, missionary position. And then he goes, one of us will be asleep. He's a weirdo. Another one says, that was actually a reference to one of my tweets where I was admiring a 5-year-old girl's. Okay, so he didn't care. I mean, if he cared, I mean, it's either he didn't care or he's dumb, one of the two. Because you can't become a Paystack co-founder overnight. He must have been working so hard on their platform or even other platforms that he didn't make it. He must have been working hard for so long. But that's the thing, you lost everything. I keep telling you, it's not enough that you're a hard worker. It is not enough that you're a good guy, a man of good character. It is not. All those things are bare minimum. You're supposed to do those things as a human being. But in order to win amongst about 8 billion people, you have to realize that you need to rise much, much more above just good character and good behavior. You have to be wise. You have to have foresight, especially as a young man. Another one here says, I have a touching relationship with my cousin. Can't wait to get to third base. Another one says, guess who goes ahead to say he's got low sperm count just to score one with ladies, worried about getting pregnant? Him. Okay. So Monday would be more fun with an A in it. Touch a co-worker today inappropriately. Okay. Weirdo. Let's see here. What did I do? How do I put this back on? Let me see. Okay. I don't know. Okay, this is it. Okay. Right here. Okay. Okay, and I think that was it. So this boy has caused a lot of trouble for himself now. And now he has to pay the price. So because of all those tweets you're looking at, before we get back into the news itself, let me pull this up real quick. Okay. One second. Okay, let's turn this down a little bit. Okay. Here we go. All right, so I was scrolling yesterday on Instagram, and then I saw the post, So that's where I first saw it. I didn't first of all, well, I think I saw Solomon Buchi making a comment about it. Yeah, that's what it was first. So here's what Solomon Buchi had to say. Let me make sure my audio is good. All right, good. Let's listen. Listen in, guys.
Wrote 5 paragraphs, 188 words. Not one mention of that guy's name, Ezra. That's his name. Or have you forgotten? Ozzy made a whole post on Twitter. Not one mention of his name. Kiki Modi on her Instagram post wrote a whole lot of word salads there. Didn't mention his name. All of a sudden, you're now being political. Where is that feminist vim with which you drag people for their opinions? Where is that feminist vim with which you call for the heads of men over their opinions, and men who have even said way less things than what your degenerate cat meowing friend has done? All of a sudden, your voices are so soft, especially you, Uloma. You called Apostle Emmanuel Iren a rapist for speaking against false rape accusations.
Wow.
Where is that energy now? All of you are ideological bastards. You are vile people. You call sensible women pick me while auditioning to be uprooted by a degenerate man who sleeps with his cat. You punch down on women who are married who want to submit to their...
All right, let me pay some bills. Then I see a lot of you have comments in there. Let me pay some bills. I'll come right back. Hey, Abby, good to see you, Abby. Toby and Tribe, good to see you. My people, good to see you all. Who else? Of course, Chinye is here. No, we already shadow banned. I might as well just read it. So don't read them, I think. I try to call them, Sha. But I'm reading your comments way too late anyway. All right, so let me pay some bills. I'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen.
This is Ola, man of Prestige, your favorite relationship and marriage coach. If you enjoyed this, smash that like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs it. Be a part of the Prestige family. My wife Lola and I have written 2 powerful books, Get My Marriage Back and #1 Red Flag. Yours free at manofprestige.com. For personal coaching, send me a WhatsApp request for consultation to +1 732 305 8577. Stay tuned for more. Your journey to love and prestige starts here.
Uloma wrote 5 paragraphs, 188 words. Not one mention of that guy's name, Ezra. That's his name. Or have you forgotten? Ozzy made a whole post on Twitter. Not one mention of his name. Kiki Modi on her Instagram post wrote a whole lot of word salads there. Didn't mention his name. All of a sudden, you're now being political. Where is that feminist vim with which you drag people for their opinions? Where is that feminist vim with which you call for the heads of men over their opinions, and men who have even said way less things than what your degenerate cat meowing friend has done? All of a sudden, your voices are so soft, especially you, Uloma. You called Apostle Emmanuel Iren a rapist for speaking against false rape accusations. Where is that energy now? All of you are ideological bastards. You are vile people. You call sensible women pick me while auditioning to be uprooted by a degenerate man who sleeps with his cat. You punch down on women who are married, who want to submit to their husbands, who have conservative ideologies in life, but you are licking the butt of a man who sits on the face of his cat for sexual pleasure. So finally, which one is better? Being married, submitting to a man, living a conservative life, having children, or being irredeemably single while pursuing men who have sexual interest in cats? Please, go and check yourselves that you don't have hepatitis B and HIV and maybe another illness that has to do with cats, so you don't startle humanity with another pandemic. Uloma wrote 5 paragraphs, 188 words. Not one mention of that guy's name, Ezra. That's his name. Or have you forgotten? Ozzy made a whole post on Twitter. Not one mention of his name. Kiki Modi on her Instagram post wrote a whole lot of word salads there. Didn't mention his name. All of a sudden, you're now being political. Where is that feminist vim with which you drag people for their opinions? Where is that feminist vim with which you call for the heads of men over their opinions, and men who have even said way less things than what your degenerate cat meowing friend has done? All of a sudden, your voices are so soft, especially you, Uloma. You called Apostle Emmanuel Iren a rapist for speaking against false rape accusations. Where is that energy now? All of you are ideological bastards. You are vile people. You call sensible women pick me while auditioning to be uprooted by a degenerate man who sleeps with his cat. You punch down on women who are married, who want to submit to their husbands, who have conservative ideologies in life, but you are licking the butt of a man who sits on the face of his cat.
Jesus Christ.
So finally, which one is better? Being married, submitting to a man, living a conservative life, having children, or being irredeemably single while pursuing men who have sexual interest in cats? Please, go and check yourselves that you don't have hepatitis B and HIV and maybe another illness that has to do with cats, so you don't startle humanity with another pandemic. Uloma wrote 5 paragraphs, 188 words.
Okay,
not one mention of—
I guess that I think I might have mistakenly played that twice. All right, who are these women? That's a good question, Marriott. That's a good question. I think brunch girls, is that what they call them? All right, before I'm going to go into this, who these girls are, let me just finish reading this post on Twitter. Let me see. There was a post that I was trying to— okay, so there's a guy called Akpo Ikogo. I don't know who that is. Akpo Ikogo, but these are the people we're talking about, just in case you're wondering right here. Okay, one of those people. Okay, so I won't be playing any more audio unless I have to refresh. Voila. All right, so that's the young lady who brought her wife into a relationship with Ezra, and you're looking at right there on the screen. Okay, and that's the young lady who started exposing him. The young lady also borrowed $55,000 from him to pay her brother's tuition, and there's a lot of people are speculating that there's money issues. She was trying to shake him down. There's a lot of speculations around that I saw online, but who cares at this point? Anyway, who is Oloma? Who is Oloma? That's a good question. I think we'll get there in a minute. But the TechPoint article says, as of Thursday evening, November 13, 2025, Ezra has been suspended from all duties and responsibilities. In accordance with our internal policies, we have initiated a review process led by Paystack's board. The board is in the process of appointing an independent third-party investigator to ensure the investigation is conducted fairly, thoroughly, and with full confidentiality. The controversy began in November 2025, when an individual known as Max OBAE, that's the young lady on the screen. Let me make sure. Yeah. Her with the glasses, I think. Max OBAE posted accusations on social media suggesting that a tech leader had mistreated a former partner and employees with the S. Although OBAE did not initially name Olubi, observers quickly connected the dots to Paystack CTO, prompting them to dig up past posts. You know, people say, where's the evidence? The social media will look for the evidence for you. You just have to calm down. Calm down. Your own is to make sure you are behaving in this street. Ned, Panet. Your own is to make, it doesn't matter if you come on the internet ever because you're 85 or not. It really doesn't matter. You're looking for evidence. In due time, they will find it for you. Somebody said, but don't be sentimental. Don't be emotional. No, you don't be sentimental and don't be emotional. This is the reality of what we have to deal with. Okay, so you better behave yourself. This is true for all of us, every single one of us. You don't know how to run your mouth on the internet. You're a keyboard gangster. You don't have any real picture. You only have 1 follower or 0 followers. You're not following anybody, but you troll people on the internet. No evidence, right? Wait now. They just have to be big enough interest. And on the internet, we don't suffer from interest. Anyway. I just laugh. A lot of stupid people on the internet. I'm pardon me to say that like that. Just a lot of numbskull people on the internet with regards to where, not in real life, not people being dumb or stupid. A lot of these people are intelligent, but they are numbskull with respect to where we are in terms of the digital era. The end, you know, some of them are just going to have to collect first before they realize. When I say collect, I meant the big pigeon one. I say like they have to hit rock bottom first before they realize that, you know, it's too late. And maybe some of them will have a second chance. But I'm telling you right now, with those devices in your hands, a lot more people over the next 5 years to 1 decade will be getting in more trouble. And there's evidence what you're looking for. There's surplus of them. Surplus, okay? So the more people install all those cameras in their house, the ring lights, the ring cameras, your devices, every one of them have like two cameras. Every single device has 2 cameras. Have you noticed? Every device now, okay, maybe I'm exaggerating, but if you have an iPhone 13 and above, it has at least 2 cameras. You never see anything yet. You never see anything yet. We're moving into an era that we do not understand. Okay, but the principles are the same. Okay, the principles are the same. You need to have foresight. You need to be able to think beyond just what your emotions are telling you. When you say don't be sentimental and emotional, if you're the one that beat everybody to it, there's a good chance you're the one that's sentimental and emotional. There's a good chance the other person can see what you can't see. Okay, why do I say like that? Because they might even not know that they are seeing it, but they feel something. They know something is missing, right? But they are telling you, but you can't see because you need a bottle to look like a bottle before you realize that there's a chance that there may be a bottle behind the scenes, behind your blind spots. You're waiting for evidence. If the whole world just works like that, everybody just have evidence before life happens to people, life will be perfect. The reality is that people don't get in trouble until they realize there was something in their blind spot, and then they are in trouble, and then it's too late. Because if they saw it, they wouldn't get in trouble. Think about that. So you're posting stuff on the internet the whole 15 years ahead of time, and then it comes back and bites you in the butt. Millions of dollars down the drain. They will chop him up. All the board members, they will eat him up like this. Have you seen the story of what happened between Otedola and Olumelu? Go and find out the story. Just Google it. What happened between Otedola and Olumelu? Just go to ChatGPT and check it out. Something that happened between them with regards to board and buying some stocks and somebody backbiting something. This is the real world. There's a lot of money involved. Sharks, they will eat you up. You sit down there, be sentimental and calling other people sentimental. Anyway, back to what I was saying. I digress. Although OBAE, we were talking about Max OBAE, the young lady, the Polycule lady. She did not initially name Olubi, EZRA OLUBI. Observers quickly connected the dots to Paystack CTO, prompting them to dig up past posts that many have described as shocking. Olubi has since deactivated his X account, but screenshots of the post continue to circulate. I've already reviewed that earlier on. Some of the resurfaced posts, including disturbing comments about sexual activity involving animals, children, and co-workers. Olubi's case adds to a growing pattern of controversy surrounding Nigeria's tech ecosystem. I was asking Abby earlier, what is going on in the tech system in Nigeria? And then answered to me, let me see if I can remember now. Something about, they said very talented people are something like that they're weirdos. So I'm paraphrasing that, what did you say, Abby? Remind me. Something about when people are super talented, they also tend to be weird, but I think there's some truth to that anyway. Olubi has since deactivated. Okay, all right. So Olubi's case adds to a growing. Okay, one prominent example was Patricia, the crypto startup that in 2023 blamed a hack for freezing customer withdrawals. A TechPoint Africa investigation later revealed that the crisis may have stemmed more from mismanagement than a cyber attack, with claims of misappropriated funds and weak internal financial controls. In January of 2025, TechPoint Africa also reported that the Lagos State Revenue Service was investigating claims that Bento submitted fake receipts to conceal the missing remittances. Around the same time, the company faced similar issues in Ghana, where businesses accused Bento of failing to remit taxes and pension payments, a situation linked to poor documentation and high staff turnovers. These incidents have revived long-standing conversations about accountability, workplace culture, and corporate governance across Africa's tech sector. This guy was actually honored with, I think they call it OON, something order of Nigeria, Federal Republic of Nigeria, that the president's accord people, I think was Buhari, that actually gave him this honorary title. Obviously, because they started Paystack, they got a lot of money from that. So startup is a big thing in the tech community in Nigeria. And I have a feeling a lot of these young kids, they don't know what to do with themselves with this level of exposure to money and fame overnight and power, people working for them, people bound to their knees, the talent, the talent that they have, that they've actually executed to build companies. I have a feeling that many of these kids are going to get in more trouble. We're going to probably see more and more of this. And it's just the way it works, I know. So the only thing they can do with this information I just said is to be guided, because with that kind of power comes a lot of tests, Say, however, the controversy surrounding Paystack is especially significant given the company's status of one of Africa's most important technology startups, particularly after its high-profile acquisition by Stripe. All right, that out of the way. The other post I was reading earlier on says, independence, however, does not override investor protections. They're talking about if they're going to get rid of him completely, or this is just a suspension, right? They're probably going to get rid of him completely because they can't afford for their brand name to be attached to such behavior. I don't care if the behavior was 60 years ago. What do you think happened to Bill Cosby? Bill Cosby in the 60s was committing certain atrocities that came back and hunt him down in the 2010s, all the way from 50 years ago. Something that ordinarily people might say statute of limitation has gone. Same thing with PDD. All these court cases that he was just lucky that caught up with him. A lot of them already exceeded the statute of limitation. The point where a lot of people will say, yes, the law says they can't do anything. Like, says who? Oyiboto ko she pencil she razor. Do I have to go to law school? You have to go to law school to know that the Oyibo that did the pencil did the eraser. They can erase it. We just finish reading books and then we lose our skinny. Oh my God. Let me Thank you, Jare. This is what Abi was trying to say. Anyway, he's a genius. He will come up with another platform when this dies down. So hopefully, he can fund it, as funding may be tough to get with this trail. That's the thing, Abi. Do you know how many kids are just as talented as he is, and he's blowing it now? Yeah, he can create. Maybe he can cover his face and use somebody else. Yeah, Yeah. Let me see here. What time is it? Oh, okay. Just looking at the time. So somebody said, I'm certain even without seeing the sale documents that his agreement contains one. They call it the morality clause. Somebody said there's no morality in law. Says who? There's literally something called morality clause. You can create agreement for anything. Literally for anything. Unless, of course, there are seniority legalities that will override and nullify your agreement. But you can create agreement, NDAs, all kind of craziness for this guy. One of the things I saw is that he had been writing up NDAs for people. Anyway, allegedly. So let me go back to some of the posts. So let's see here. So the original post that I saw is this one. Okay, so this is the backstory here. Okay. The quote says, I brought a monster into my marriage. Media personality Max OBAE accuses Paystack. So she's a media personality. In a deeply emotional, it was on an audio that was floating around, and it was recorded from X Spaces. So in a deeply emotional and lengthy public disclosure, Max OBAE, former partner of Paystack co-founder, when I say partner, romantic partner, EZRA, let me show this to you. EZRA OLUBI has come forward with explosive allegations detailing manipulation, abusive behavior, and disturbing misconduct during and before their relationship. Speaking in a live audio recording, OBAE said she felt compelled to speak out after realizing the depth of the depravity surrounding OLUBI, stressing that she does not consider herself a victim, but believes the public needs to hear the truth. According to her, she first approached OLUBI in September 2023 with the intention of forming a polyamorous relationship involving herself and her wife. And at that point, Nigerian people say, amen. No, I'm just kidding. Not amen. Wala. Let's see here. Okay. So, according to her, she first approached, So, she admitted that at the time her interest was driven partly by financial motivation, as she hoped to leave corporate America. OBAE said the relationship began remotely and only became physical when she visited in December 2023. Dirty December. A lot of people are getting in trouble with Dirty December. You're going to hear more stories coming out of Dirty Decembers. Anyway, Lagos are starting to charge, I think they said $13 per head of anybody that enter Lagos for Dirty December. Anyway, they met in 2023 December when she went for Dirty December, which was also the first time she met a junior employee OLUBI was allegedly sexually involved with. Okay. Although the subordinate told her the relationship was consensual, OBAE now says she is ashamed she looked away, adding that she believes the situation was far more complicated and that more individuals may have been involved. Nigerian people on the internet will say, where's the crime? You have evidence? Where's the crime? And it will shock you. You never see anything yet. She also claimed she later became concerned about OLUBI's pattern of control, emotional detachment, and alleged mistreatment of domestic workers, prescribing his behavior as manipulative, demeaning, and psychotic. Somebody said, but Ola, it looks like you're believing some of these people that are just talking more, and you're not asking them for evidence. You're right, except you're wrong. I'm not believing them. I'm trying to warn you. You don't want to be dragged in this mud before we find out that you have been innocent. Are you not paying attention? Okay. I have to spell everything out for you. The kílẹ̀ tó pòṣìkà, Yorùbá sọ pé kílẹ̀ tó pòṣìkà. How do you finish it? Something like that. Why do you want to wait until your life is destroyed and then they will now find out that you were innocent? And then why do you want to wait until that before you gather wisdom? I don't understand. Ugao. May God help all of us. So let me see. I'm about to rush this up a little bit. Okay, here we go. All right. So she also claims she later became concerned about Olubi's pattern of control, emotional detachment. So let's say you say she lied. Okay, but now his reputation is in the poto. What are you going to do about it? Oh, you think the government is going to start filing criminal charges against everybody that spread this on the internet? Masio. OBAE revealed that she and Olubi eventually ended their relationship in June 2024 after months of conflict. However, she said what ultimately compelled her to speak publicly were revelations, including her sister's marriage, breaking down at several points. OBAE said she now feels she brought a monster into her marriage, insisting that the behavior she witnessed was alarming and harmful not only to her, but to others in Olubi's orbit. I'll tell you what. Oh, there's a lot of craziness and trial, Polycule, all this stuff going on. We're just in that era. People are exiting what used to be, what we used to know, and they're trying things out, particularly freedom. Okay? I just want you to know that freedom is not exactly freedom. Freedom is not exactly freedom. Freedom comes with responsibilities. Well, adulting comes with responsibilities. And if you were trying to avoid adulting by avoiding the conventional way of doing things, right? Let me talk about sex for a second. Sex is a very, very deep thing, right? And if it's not contained, it will destroy you, potentially, okay? And when you start bringing all kind of wayward, extracurricular, weirdo type of situations into your life, I mean, I hope you know what you're bargaining for, right? You're swimming against the trend. I hope you're prepared that you might get drowned by the trend of the ocean. So I hope you know what you're doing. That's all I can tell you. I can't shame you. I can't condemn you because I am not Jesus. I'm not God. But I can tell you for sure that there's a reason things have been the way they were. And I don't always advocate that things stay the same way. But if you're going to push against what you used to be, you better know what you're doing, because you might end up in the hands of a person like EZRA. All right. I hope you know what you're doing. Toby and Tribe says the best thing he can do now is to invest the money he has saved. Good advice already. Invest the money he has saved all those years into small startup companies that have potential. His reputation might be over, but at least it won't go hungry. And he knows a lot about the industry. He can also be a quiet angel investor in that world. They might actually use him because he's still talented, but actually be able to use his talent behind the scenes to scout for newer opportunities. But yeah, good luck with that, because nobody wants to test somebody's questionable morals with their money. That's another thing too. Yeah. But good luck to him, Sha. I'm gonna leave it at that. If you have some more stuff later on, we'll cover it. But let me pay some bills. I'll be right back.
This is Ola, man of Prestige, your favorite relationship and marriage coach. If you enjoyed this, smash that like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs it. Be a part of the Prestige family. My wife Lola and I have written 2 powerful books, Get My Marriage Back and Number 1 Red Flag, yours free at manofprestige.com. For personal coaching, send me a WhatsApp request for consultation to +1 732 305 8577. Stay tuned for more. Your journey to love and prestige starts here.
All right, before I continue, there's one more thing that I really want to cover real quick about this guy. So a lot of the online feminists, the baby feminists, hello, Black Diamond, a lot of baby feminists have been they had been best friends with this guy because this guy, he had pictures of lipsticks on. He lived a certain type of lifestyle. I think it was a well-known gay person or something like that. So in Nigeria, I'm not sure how they, obviously I'm not in the world, and in that world, they cannot be caught in the act because it's a 14 years prison sentence, right? But they can live their life like Bobrisky, right? So he was one of those people, which is why they probably got attracted. All these weirdo couples got attracted to him and then flew to Dirty December and then get entangled up with him. Okay. I think the point that somebody was asking who is Oluma. This Oluma, and there's a few other feminists, baby feminists on Twitter. Some of them are breeding new people every day. Now, I always tell people, I'm not just going to outrightly judge these people. The reason why they build such a huge audience is because a lot of people feel betrayed, feel violated. A lot of young girls feel violated and betrayed by society that have what we call the grape culture, right? So when they're looking for a safe place, sometimes they run into bigger troubles. This is life. That's why I say if you need help, seek proper counsel, because where you are trying to run, this happens to men too. They're looking for solutions and then they run and say that's all over the internet. Before you know it, they stumble into the manosphere and they start repeating this manosphere talking points. Some of us have been having this conversation for years, and we can hear it when you're angry and you've been listening to weirdo type of shit. We can hear it because it's the same talking point. Women divorce 70% of the time. Why are they leaving us? What, they only leave because women only divorce because they are only when they are not happy. We can hear it. We've been hearing that for you think you are the one you thought you just discovered something. But we can hear it. The same thing with the baby feminists, right? You can't make 2 or 3 sentences without using the word misogynistic. There's nothing wrong with the word misogynistic, but oftentimes I'm hearing people talking and there's no substance in what they're trying to say. They're just angry. So of course, you run back and forth. You end up in this kind of people's web. So some of this, I guess one of them is Oluma. That's who they were, and they are being dragged. Obviously, Solomon Buchi was dragging them, like this one right here, Kiki Muddy. I have been vacationing with my family, taking a much-needed break from Twitter against my preference, but owing to its urgency, I had to see some of this horrifying tweets everyone else has seen. I'm still processing it. There's a lump in my throat and a knot in my stomach. A few people have reached out to me to seek my voice in prosecuting a person I've called a friend for a lengthy period. You see, they're not mentioning his name. That's what Solomon Buchi was talking about. But they're very quick to mention other people's name, including the Apostle Suleiman, is he, or Pastor Emmanuel or something like that. I know all those ones are corporates too, usually. but you get the gist here. Like, again, dear, take it. If you're going to create, so you want to make sure that the solutions you're creating does not create more problems. That's where a lot of people miss it, and they don't hold themselves accountable. They don't feel responsible for the big, huge followers that they've created from a place of pain. People will follow them easily because a lot of people have been hurt. On either side, either we're talking about the recovering simps or the baby feminists, there have been a lot of hurt people, and they're going to deem it fit to jump there and start repeating the same talking points and get angry. Some of them are still in a relationship. They come back home, they destroy their relationships with stupid ideologies that really doesn't exist. Everybody, they collect for this life. She said, my voice, albeit tested to extremes, remains actively against grape culture. I'm exhausted from having to do this for yet another friend, but do it I must. My trust has been violated, as have many other women who built a safe space on this foundation. I'm working with close allies, equally distraught but committed to create a safe reporting channel. A lot of people just want someone that will repeat their talking point, people that will pander to their feelings, and they can't deal with any version of truth that comes against their feelings, So that's that one. And let me see, another one here will be, Here's another one. Ozzy, stop dragging me into lies. Okay. No matter how many times you tag, tell, or reach out to my family members, send journal requests. They know how to speak this English. I don't know what that is. I've been very clear that I have nothing to do with Maki or Ezra's Polycule, at least this one mentioned names, and do not have this fabricated close personal relationship, which is what maybe she's a feminist. They will group all of them together and they drag everybody ma collect me. Pressure. Ọlọ́pàá máa kó everybody ni. All right. I don't know what this is. Okay. They said Solomon Buchi is misogynistic for having a Christian conservative worldview, getting married, loving your wife, submitting to your husband, complementarianism over equality of results, but they were hanging out with a pedophile. One thing with the baby family is that they will tell you that they want to protect women unless they deem that woman a pick-me, then they will drag that pick-me by her wigs and the blockers that she doesn't have. What does that tell you? Hypocrites across the board, undefeated. Okay, I've had a few of them try to test me sometimes. They ask questions. I have answers for your questions. You know, generally speaking, I avoid conversations with baby feminists. I avoid conversations with recovering simps because they are blind. Unless you pay me, you have to pay me. If you pay me and then obviously you deem me there's somebody that can help. Outside of that, just for debate, why? No, I'm not doing that for free. I'm sorry. Because they can't see past their pain and they're just looking for gotcha moments. That's all they're looking for. Just another gotcha moment. Gotcha. Oh, you were dumb. The other day, some of them tried to redefine simp. What is a simp? I said gullible man. They said gullible and they started digging through the gullible and then it became, the only thing is if I have any, I'll just learn. Okay, I will take the opportunity to learn. If I mistakenly engage you in that kind of tussle back and forth, but it won't last because I know they engage. They have to pay me. Okay, so that's the thing. So it's just a very dangerous world that we live in right now because human beings are discovering more and more new stuff about themselves, and they don't know what to do with themselves, especially our young people. The Gen Z extended into the millennials, especially millennials that are going through divorce, millennials that have traumas, childhood trauma that they've never dealt with, you know, and a lot of them, they read a lot of books that basically help them rate those pain, and it's just very messy out there. And when you jump into any one of these conversations, just listening, you can hear the pain in their voice. So that's why it's very hard for me to judge them from I don't like judging from a myopic place where I would just say, feminist, can you call, like, no, calm down, listen. I'll try to listen, okay? But I have my own biases. That's the truth. So it takes a lot sometimes to listen to something you can't exactly relate with, But there we have it, guys. So I'm going to move on from this story. I just wanted to make sure I cover that basis because that was trendy today. What is the lesson in all of this? The lesson is very simple. I was watching Ebuka's new podcast earlier on, and there's a young man up there. I haven't finished watching it yet, but you guys go check it out. It's called the title Masculine. Just type in Masculinity Ebuka on YouTube to come up after the show. And there's this young man up there. Young man, maybe I think he said he's 44 years old or so. Because I think I might have heard him say he's celebrating the 4th anniversary of his 40s. Okay, something like that. But he's not married, and he was speaking from a place, and he said they asked him, Ebuka asked him and said, why are you not married? And he said, I think I know too much. If you go there, you see my comment. It says, I know too much is a real thing. It's a real thing. Knowledge does not always translate to wisdom. And also, it doesn't always translate to being able to execute your life properly. There's a lot of people with even good wisdom. They can speak, but when it comes to their personal life, they struggle. There's many people in history like that. So you need to make sure you define your objectives very well. and make sure that you are well surrounded with the right knowledge, but also translated very well to wisdom, but also beyond that, executable information, because a lot of the knowledge you have is just noise, right? You see some people, they can't wait to tell you the new nonsense they've learned, stuff that are all valid, but they paralyze them. There's something called paralysis by analysis. Like you just know too much and you can't even move anymore. And then they asked him, say, is it that you have fear? And he said, he wouldn't use the word fear, but maybe like worry. I'm like, it's not the same thing. But a very wise young man, I hope and I pray that God will bless him with his own. But I'm just telling you, it's real. It's real. Some people are not lucky to be around good friends. Some people will end up getting so angry, they end up in the wrong ditch on the internet where there's a bunch of people pandering to themselves, repeating their same stupid talking points that clearly has not changed their life. Because I mean, if you look at last 6 months, you've been repeating the same shit and nothing is changing. You keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. That's called insanity. Ladies and gentlemen, help me hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications. I'm moving on to the next story. Let's talk about Fabiyi Ijesha. I think, I'll be right back.
This is Ola, man of prestige, your favorite relationship and marriage coach. If you enjoy this, smash that like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs it. Be a part of the Prestige family. My wife, Lola, and I have written 2 powerful books, Get My Marriage Back and Number 1 Red Flag, yours free at manofprestige.com. For personal coaching, send me a WhatsApp request for consultation to +1 732 305 8577. Stay tuned for more. Your journey to love and prestige starts here.
Welcome back. Let's talk about Fabiyi Ijesha. Fabiyi Ijesha, this guy right here. Actor Yomi Fabiyi speaks as Fabiyi Ijesha regains freedom after years of prison. Actor Yomi Fabiyi is one of those people that he's not paying attention. I would be nice because you can meet any of these guys, and I don't want to look like I've dragged them negatively unduly, but sometimes just I get angry too because I see like these people, they don't know. I'm angry not at them, but at the amount of information that I think they are missing when it comes to the analysis of this thing called life and relationships. And to me, it gets so obvious why all of the marriages are scattering everywhere. But hey, maybe I'm also operating from a place of pride. Maybe I can't see what everybody else can see. But let's keep having that conversation. So actor Yomi Fabiyi, he had a lot to say because apparently Fabiyi Ijesha was just being released from jail. As a matter of fact, he's trendy right now, number 1 on Twitter. Finally released from prison Friday 14th November. I don't know. Let me see this video. This is Fabiyi Ijesha, if you're wondering. All right, enough of that. So that's him right there. But before I go into what Yomi Fabiyi has to say, actor Fabiyi Ijesha, according to Daily Post, has just been released from prison after 5 years. Famous Nigerian actor Ola Omiyinka, professionally known as Fabiyi Ijesha, has finally been released from prison. The actor regained his freedom on Friday, November 14, 2025, after spending over 3 years in custody over alleged sexual assault. Announcing Fabiyi Ijesha's release, actor Yomi Fabiyi in the post posted a lot of things. So I'm going to read that post real quick. Yomi Fabiyi says, "You are now officially free and out. Fabiyi Ijesha is not just back and better." Okay. If you're wondering what happened, let me just, again, a quick backstory to what happened. What happened was that he was accused of molesting a young teenager at one of his colleagues' apartments. The name of that colleague would be Comedian Princess. Her name is Comedian Princess. So she had a young girl that was living with her, and she set up cameras, I guess, and then she trapped him, and allegedly, and before you know it, they have evidence of him trying to sleep with this young 14-year-old girl. And before you know it, they started dragging it in and out. I think Yabojo was also involved, and before you know it, he was sentenced to prison back then. Okay, he was arrested in April 2021. A hidden CCTV camera allegedly captured him engaging in inappropriate behavior with a minor who had been previously abused at age 7. The Lagos Special Offences Court found him guilty of indecent treatment and sexual assault, but acquitted him of charges requiring proof of penetration. So they didn't catch him for penetration, but then they sentenced him they said he was handed a total of 16 years imprisonment, but was to serve 5 years due to concurrent sentencing. Okay, a total of 16 years. Wow. In 2024, the Lagos Appeal Court reportedly upheld part of his conviction while adjusting some counts. All right, so now really the congratulations to him. I hope he behaves himself. But let's look at what Yomi Fabiyi, another actor, had to say. He said, you're now officially free and out. Baba Ijesha is not just back and better. I'm also happy you were cleared by the appeal court of ever having sex defile any minor. The 7-year-old story is a charade. We live in a terrible world where sentiments and wickedness rise above the rule of law and truth. Something that, again, I'm going to keep saying this until maybe it sticks, hopefully for some people. Sentiment has always been a part of what it takes. It's even including you, that you're pushing hard against sentiment and emotions. That's your sentiment and your emotions. At the end of the day, they're going to assess the available evidence. The available evidence is subject to the people that are in charge of them, and they are going to use their discretion a lot. They call it conviction, whatever, in the court of law, and then they will decide. And a lot of time, people end up in jail for things they didn't even do. So that tells you that world is not exactly perfect. So you might have been living in delusion if you're moving mad, and then you got caught in the web of illegal activities, and then you are still saying, anyway. He said, we live in a world where sentiments and wickedness rise above the rule of law and truth. He's talking indirectly at Iyabo Ojo and Princess. He said, let it be on record that 1, those that set the trap engaged in age falsification because there was no single proof to date anywhere, not even in court, that said victim was 15 years old. To me, they only weaponized abuse on child minor to destroy a weak target and achieve vendetta. So he's saying the Iyabo Ojo and them have vendetta against Baba Ijesha. Number 2, he said Damola Adekola, princess, comedian, neighbor, and security of the house with alias Okele, who sexually abused the girl since 2020, has still out there. Damola Adekola, who practically had sex, confirmed the girl was his girlfriend and was asked to walk free despite initially being arrested alongside Baba Ijesha. Make it make sense. Same case, same victim, same investigation. There are 2 possibilities here. It's an unfortunate situation for Baba Ijesha, or there was no proof. There's 2 possibilities, but those 2 possibilities are very probable because there's only 2, 50%, right? So, but this idea that Iyabo, I'm just not believing that they just like a vendetta. I'm not believing it, but maybe there's stuff we don't know, right? But then they should tell us what we don't know. But we're going by what's available in the public domain. Number 3, he says princess comedian groomed the girl, the minor, for sexual activities. This is coupled with negligence because sperm was found on the girl days after Baba Ijesha was arrested, and it is not for Baba Ijesha. Test confirmed she recently lost her virginity then. Okay, so that doesn't tell us anything. Okay, a lot of people are trusting. Like I see people say, "Well, if she was a virgin, then why is she like?" They're doing the same thing with the Regina situation. Good luck. Let me just continue. Another one says, number 4, Princess Comedian and her co-travelers engaged in child pornography by deliberately installing cameras on the same day Baba Ijesha was invited to act. Well, if there was no crime committed, there wouldn't be a child pornography. So logic is not logic in there, right? She recorded how her foster child, her daughter, was sexually abused. That is if the girl is truly 14 years old. All right, let me see what we're doing here. Okay, we're good. Don't forget to hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to hit the like button. I appreciate you for being here. I appreciate you. Anyway, so it says Princess Comedian subjected the girl to re-trauma. She practically wants the girl to something PTSD just because she wants to gather evidence that is if the girl is truly 14 years old. They're doing the same thing right now with Regina's age. Like, to me, it doesn't matter. Why do I say to me? Because I want you to be clear that yes, the sentiments and emotions there, just how I feel from the little bit I've seen. I don't think it matters if Regina was 17, 18, 19. We'll talk about that later on. Anyway, I'll tell you why later on. But if a 14-year-old girl, a teenager is a teenager, okay? If the court said this person was a minor, that means there's a 3-year plus or minus gap between the 14 that they're claiming and even the part with that mark, right? Somebody say, oh, at once they're like, okay, but we're not talking about right now in this case, we're not talking about what do we call it? We're not talking about customary marriage now. See, that's the easy escape for the other story. We're talking about violating a young girl in that Lagos. And he's lucky that he didn't get to penetrate, because then he would have gotten more, right? Anyway, so he said she abused the rights of the girl because she relied on her for food, shelter, and guidance. And 6, etc. He said, we as the human rights organization never and will never condone or support any form of sexual abuse, let alone on children or minors. We will continue to fight against selective justice, abuse, the fundamental. So it should be fight against injustice. What is selective justice? Selective justice already spell out that you have bias. Is it me? That's how I interpret that anyway. You should be fighting against injustice. You should stay focused on fighting against injustice. When you say selective justice, it sounds personal. So then the fighting against abusing the fundamental human rights of any persons, and fight against organized crime, like in the case of Baba Ijesha. Okay, so he's saying there's an organized crime against Baba Ijesha. You should keep fighting. You should never stop until Baba Ijesha is exonerated. If you have proof, evidence, submit them. If you don't have them, continue the investigation until you get to the bottom of it. Until then this is another useless statement by a grown person. It's a prerequisite for Princess Comedian actions are errored. It has no propensity in law. Justice on 2 left. You see, sounds extremely intelligent, but it's empty. These are some of the things I'm talking about. But congratulations to Baba Ijesha, and he did the crime. He served his time. That's honorable. Hopefully, he gets to continue his life. Chie said exonerated, so he can continue army. I mean, if they have their proof now, if they can come up with their proof after investigation. But I'm saying he's out now anyway. So, but you can still, it's still a felony, right? So to clear his name, that's what I'm saying. To clear, it's already out now anyway. You are absolutely right. All kinds of atrocities are happening in that country. Mario says Nigerian men and their free reign to attack children is why none of the prayers will be answered. I know I am emotional. Marriott, what's wrong with being emotional? They're more emotional than you, Marriott. That's the issue. So how they were twisting it. See how they were twisting it. Yeah. She says, whomever is in support of this is a P word himself. Your mind has to be twisted to be supported by Baba Ijesha. If he wasn't the devil, he wouldn't have been caught in the act or fall into such trap. There are two possibilities. They bribed all of the judges, including at the appeal court that upheld some of those charges, right? So you're not making sense, Yomi Fabiyi. Toby and Tracy, I'm sure Yomi Fabiyi will produce a movie for him entitled "The Accused" and put it on YouTube. He did. He produced a movie at the time. I think that's what you're referencing. He produced a movie at the time about this story, like a day after. Imagine that kind of weirdo behavior, right? Anyway, let's keep it moving. Do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. I will be right back.
This is Ola, man of Prestige, your favorite relationship and marriage coach. If you enjoyed this, smash that like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs it. Be a part of the Prestige family. My wife Lola and I have written 2 powerful books, Get My Marriage Back and Number 1 Red Flag, yours free at manofprestige.com. For personal coaching, send me a WhatsApp request for consultation to +1 732 305 8577. Stay tuned for more. Your journey to love and prestige starts here.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. This story was trendy about 3 days ago or so. I didn't get a chance. It was trendy everywhere. And I didn't cover it because apparently it's the second time this story will come out in a different format. I didn't cover it back then because I generally don't cover extreme stuff. I rather just talk to the Prestige family in their regular persons. Although regular bad things happen to regular people, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying like the day-to-day relationship issues is what and life and adulting, that's the kind of stuff I like to pay attention on. The extreme stuff oftentimes gets way too emotional and just we have a bunch of weirdos answering them, and I just leave them alone for the most part. But this one, this young man has been exonerated, so I thought it's important we highlight it because the reality is that a lot of the issues we're dealing with, they're not gendered. When you look at rape cases, abuse and stuff like that, they do tend to tilt more in the direction of women being victims. That's the reality. The numbers shows it. It is what it is. But men are also the one who tend to protect our society, either in the form of institutions, police, soldiers, or even at a personal level. It's men fighting other men predators away from their own family, right? So it's just what it is. Unfortunately, we'll continue to fight against the devil or evil, right? So, I think the day-to-day stuff is what I like to focus on. But anyways, look at this story here. It says alleged defilement case. Enugu police confirmed that a wife made a false allegation of defilement against the father of her 2 daughters, arraigning her and the complainant. It is very dangerous, right, to just believe everybody. Okay, there's a difference between believing everybody or having empathy when you're listening to a story and not judging the victim, right? There's a fine line between that, right? I don't have to jump there and say Irolupa. A lot of people just want to be quick to say it's just a lie. I was like, well, actually, you don't know that part too. Why don't you just say you don't know? Why don't you just empathize with the person that's telling a story and say you're sorry they went through that? And you're not a court, you're not a judge, a court of law. So why are you determining if they're lying or not? They just told you a story. They might be crying in front of your face. Just tell them you're sorry. And if you don't have anything nice to say, shut the fuck up. Well, why is that so hard for some people to do? Anyway, for me personally, I don't address some of these cases because some of these cases they belong in the courts. Okay, they belong in the court. So anyway, Enugu State Police Command released this alleged defilement of 2 children by their father, while Enugu police arraigned the complainant and children's mother instead of the accused father. The Enugu State Police Command on 25th of October 2025 received a complaint from Okonkwo Chisom, female, age 29, lodged at the command's MNA police division, alleging that her husband, Okonkwo Ozioma, had been defiling their 2 daughters, aged 5 and 3 years old, and threatening to kill her if she disclosed it. However, Following the husband's arrest and the diligent investigation, the allegations were found to be false and misleading. That's all a lot of people need to read before they jump out there and they say, "Oh, I knew it. Like, no, you didn't know shit. Okay. The reality is that a lot of people are still victims. So why would I like this kind of stories? You don't use these stories to discount other stories. Anyway, investigations revealed that, contrary to her claims, the periods in 2024 and 2025 during which Chisholm alleged the offenses occurred were the same time she had traveled alone with all the children to their hometown in Imo State. It further showed that in two separate handwritten voluntary statements, their 7-year-old son exonerated his father and disclosed that their mother had coached him and his sisters to falsely accuse their father. That's sad. A fact supported by video evidence. Additionally, she attempted to withdraw the case and stop further police investigation upon realizing, a fact supported by video evidence. Additionally, she attempted to withdraw the case and stop further police investigation upon realizing that the truth was emerging and the case would turn against her. Consequently, having failed to prove allegations beyond reasonable doubt, Chisholm Okonkwo was found to have defamed her husband and provided false and misleading information to the police. She was thereafter arraigned before the Magistrate Court of Enugu State on the 2 counts charged of defamation and given false information. She was granted bail by the court and the case was adjourned for further hearing. Chisholm Okonkwo was found to have defamed her husband and provided false. Okay. The Commissioner of Police, CP Maman Beatrice Giwa, PSC, commended the detectives of the State of Intelligence Department, SID, for their thorough and impartial investigation of the case. He reiterated the command's commitment to fairness, justice, and professionalism in handling all cases, warning that any complaint found to have made false or malicious allegations will be prosecuted in accordance with the law. SP Daniel Ndukwe. So that's that story. So she is, in fact, a mad woman. Send her to prison. I hope the police confirm that with the kids. The wife is crazy, if true. You know, I'm sure, I mean, we have to believe them because this is an official statement from the police. But the reality is that we're going to see cases like this where people decide to weaponize the fact that the society or social media court of public opinion tend to believe victims quickly and just or seemingly, because the stories go viral and somebody's reputation could have been messed up, right? So, but it's still all fair, and if it's not fair, it's the job of the police and the court to fight against any type of injustice, you know, or fight for fairness for everybody, you know. So I'm glad that they caught the situation, but you're going to see more and more situations like this. I do think it's dangerous to jump out there and be all too passionate or emotional about a story that has not been proven right, because at the end of the day, it is still very true that anybody that is accused of anything is innocent until proven guilty. Just again, gentlemen, especially you, manage your expectations around the social media. Social media is not your mate. Social media court of public opinion is exactly what that is. If you jump on the internet, you start arguing with your destiny, follow them more, because it's not going to, you know. So make sure you're not moving mad too, or try your best to not move mad. But Oloma Jakari Akuba, because Akuba is a real thing for a lot of people. Well, look at this man now married to this kind of woman, right? Wouldn't you call that Akuba? So it's sad to read this kind of story, but they do happen. Things are happening in this world. Chinye says it is why they keep getting convicted in the UK. Custody battles are messy. So she's probably trying to run away or get rid of him or something like that. She's probably crazy, you know. It's sad to see that kind of story, and how weaponizing those kids, including the older son, against the father. That is a very sick person. That is a very sick person. I think this was the original letter in the magistrate court of Chisholm, age 29 years old, that you, Chisholm, sometime in the month of along Adoration Junction opposite within the jurisdiction of the, okay. Okay, this is the charge essentially. Okay, and this is the original arrest. Enugu government arrest father for alleged defilement of his two daughters. The Enugu state government has confirmed the arrest of Mr. Ozima. Okoko was apprehended on Saturday night, October 25. The two children had been placed in government-approved shelter under the Ministry of Children, Gender Affairs and Social Development, and where they are receiving medical and psychological care. Their mother, said to be deeply traumatized, will also undergo therapy supervised by the ministry's counseling team. The government commended the police force for a swift response and reaffirmed its zero tolerance policy on sexual and gender-based violence. All right. So either way we look at it, this man is probably still sad because that's his whole family still in a bunch of craziness, you know, like who wants to wake up one day and be like, but there's probably issues between that husband and wife before this. And I'll say this, if you know there are issues between the two of you, what you should be looking for is a place of decision. Decide if you want to stay or you want to leave. If you want to stay, you want to leave. Either way, it does not tamper with the rest of your life. If you don't want it to tamper with, but you need to seek counseling on how to move on properly. Because sometimes it's just the right thing to do to move on. Sometimes it's also the right thing to do to stay. It depends, a case-by-case situation. But don't move on into more chaos. Don't use your solution to create more problems for you and your children. All right. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. I'll be right back.
This is Ola, man of prestige, your favorite relationship and marriage coach. If you enjoyed this, smash that like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs it. Be a part of the Prestige family. My wife Lola and I have written 2 powerful books, Get My Marriage Back and Number One Red Flag, yours free at manofprestige.com. For personal coaching, send me a WhatsApp request for consultation to +1 732 305 8577. Stay tuned for more. Your journey to love and prestige starts here.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. So let's talk about Regina Daniels and NWOKO. Let's continue. A few things have happened since the last time we covered this, so let's continue. Maybe we can use this to round up the show. All right, so Regina is still talking, still dragging Uncle Ned. And earlier today, I saw quite a few conversations still going on around the internet. And the reality is that there's more than enough people who think that Ned is innocent and is the victim. Okay? More than enough people think Ned NWOKO is the victim and Regina Daniels is the culprit by way of her mother. For the longest, I tried to avoid addressing the mother because, in my opinion, still my opinion, I don't think it's that relevant. I don't think it's as relevant as people are trying to make it to be, but let's make it relevant since that's what a lot of you want. Okay? The mother have failed her. The mother have failed her. The mother have failed her. Okay, I don't hear. The mother have failed her. Can we talk about what's happened in the past few days or few weeks? No. All I know.
Hey, imagine why?
All I know is that the mother have failed her. I say I don't hear.
Oh, you're right.
I don't hear. So I'm forced to say, okay, I hear you. Okay, the mother have failed that. The mother, Regina's mother, Rita Daniels, she comes off as an illiterate to me, okay? An educated illiterate. And they are much more dangerous than actual illiterates. I don't know if you understand what I mean. Educated illiterates are much more dangerous than your regular illiterate, your grandma, your grandpas, or your great-grandma, great-grandmas that did not go to school, they are better off than educated illiterates that dropped out at Form 4 or SS1 and 2, or dropped off after second year 200 level and never completed school, right? Not all of them, obviously, okay? They are much more better because we'll get there in a second. Here's the thing. I do see her as an educated illiterate. So I see her as somebody, from all indications, there might have been trouble in that marriage before, and the way they raised their kids. I mean, you can see the conduct of all three kids, especially those two kids. They're a little bit off, you know, and to the extent where, you know, they found themselves in this mess. But she's the culprit, Motigbo. I still don't think it's relevant to what's happening today, because once she gave her hands of her teenage daughter away to Paned, a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, at that point in time, Paned is responsible. Okay? At most, Regina is responsible for her adult life. So if we're looking to blame somebody, which I do not like to look at this thing from a place of blame, okay? Because I am not the court. I don't like to condemn them. I just like to extract the lessons and keep it moving. But every one of you are obsessed with blame. And whenever I'm saying Paned is responsible for the responsible, you also tend to interpret it as blame. You do not know the difference between blaming and responsibility and accountability. It's a struggle, okay? And me, I don't have the, you know. So today we're going to get back into looking at some of the things that are going on here. You know, my mother would send an educated fool is very dangerous. Yes, Marie, but common sense takes you a long way. Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. It's a lot of people that can even drop English here, but it's just like, damn, it's empty up there. Jesus Christ, you know. Anyway, Toby and Tribe says, you mean the ones that passed through school but did not finish school? Some people brag and say, at least I also passed through school. Well, not all of them, obviously, but there are certain people you just know that definitely this, yeah. It's in general, what I mean is people that lack critical thinking, you know, and sometimes you have to complete a cycle first before you can really get into a place that, you know, at least something. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Never mind. Let's just get into the story. Let's just get into the story, because a lot of things have happened since, and I want us to address it. Okay, so as you know, we covered the Showore bringer. We have about 3 different ages of Regina Daniels now. Okay, was it 2019 May that she got married? Right, she got married in May 2019, right? Okay, so we have 3 ages for Regina Daniel. Something that on a normal day is not a big deal if an actress say she has 3 ages. Somebody who was a shout out to Ebere was here, said she celebrated 16 years old multiple times. To me, that doesn't carry any weight in this, because actress and many women will do this. I'm 30 all over again. I'm 30. They will do that to 60. That's a bountiful talk. It has nothing to do with what we're doing here, right? But with regards to the documents, okay, and what the parents actually said. So let's do a quick recap, okay? The father said she was born on October 10th, 2001, and he actually named the hospital. Okay, the mother was in an interview, I think after the marriage to Ned NWOKO, and she claimed at that time, from the dated whatever on that interview, that she was about to turn 20, and that would align with the date of October 10, 2000, which is what is on Google or anywhere else on Google. That would put her in the position for her to be in May 2019, she would have been 18 years of age, going on 19 by that October. If we go by born in 2000, okay? So we have 2 ages already, right? So born in October 10, 2000 would mean that she was 18 when she got married. Born in October 10, 2001, per the father and per the 2 passports. There were 2 passports Okay, 2 passports by Omoyele Showore. Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me show you so you can know that, you know, let's see here. The 2 different passports photograph by Omoyele that Omoyele Showore posted. I don't know if I have access to it anymore. Maybe I do. Anyway, let me just say, you go on Omoyele Showore's page, you'll see 2 passports. It's the same passport, but one expired and then another one was issued, right? One expired, another one was issued. So now, we have 2 ages now. Ned said that his wife was 18, going on 19 when they got married, and that would align with okay, I found it now. Okay, here we go. Okay, so you can see that this passport right here, let me make it bigger so you can see. All right, this passport. Okay, so I'm going to take it off because I don't want. I'm going to take it off. I just remember right now. Let me take it off. You can't. Personal information is found at on social media platforms. So I'm just going to read it to you. So the first passport says it was issued in 2022, right? It's the same passport issued January 11, 2022. A lot of people have been peddling around and said, but that passport was issued 2022. No, there's a previous version of that same passport that was issued in May 2017. Okay, and they both align with 2001. Okay, so they align with what the father said, 2001. So the 2 people that are on the same page would be Ned and Rita Daniels, the mother of Regina Daniels. Okay, so we have 2 birthdays, same day, but 2 different years. One is 2000, one is 2001. Younger girl would be Pa Daniels, and what she would have posted as a passport photograph. Okay, now this is personal information. I think the social media actually frown against this, so I'm not sure why they feel they can get away with posting this on the internet. Now, in addition to that, Ned said he wants to release more information. So he went ahead and released a voter's card that shows this voter's card was issued. It shows a birthday of 1998. The same day, October 10, 1998. That's a whole 2 years before 2000. So that would make her 20 years old when they were getting married. The same Ned that said earlier on that she was 18. Are we getting somewhere, guys? So Ned's story is true. At one point, my wife was 18 going on 19 when we got married, but now he's bringing out a document that he said he took from them as evidence. He kept that record. Allegedly, he kept a record that he said, I needed to see your ID. But then he conveniently forgot. 2 years apart, 2 years difference. Okay? Because when he was talking a few days on one of the posters, my wife is 18, was 18, going on 19 when we got married, not 17. But now the wife must have been 20 according to this voter's card that he brought out. So which one of these sources is the source of truth? So people are saying, no, but Regina, the Rita Daniels, would you know the dates? Like, will a mother not know the dates that her child was born? Some people are saying that. The same people that are saying that are the same people that are saying her mother failed her, I blame her mother. They tend to be the same person. So they believe her on one hand, but they don't believe her when it comes to other things. Okay, I'm just saying this. There's a little bit of a discrepancy, inconsistency there. You hear me? So you cannot, if you want to believe Rita Daniels, believe her. If you don't want to believe her, don't believe her. That's all I'm saying. Okay. So you believe her when it comes to the date of birth. My guess is because he aligns with Ned NWOKO, because you will really like Ned to be free. Okay. And I get it. That's fine. On the social media, we pick sides. Okay. Maybe not me personally, but we pick sides. It is what it is. Because when you hear my side, which is usually on the fence, you will still push me to one side all by yourself. So I just wanted to do like those few real caps. So there's a lot of discrepancies around our date of birth, because now they're saying instead of her being 24 or 25, they're now suggesting that she's actually 27 years old. What do you think? Is she 27 years old or not? Is she 25 years old or not? Let me set up a quick poll while we're talking. How old is Regina? That's the poll. I'm going to set this up real quick. I will continue this. I'm going to pay some bills. I'm going to set that up, and then we'll continue with Regina Daniels and Ned NWOKO. I'll be right back.
This is Ola, man of Prestige, your favorite relationship and marriage coach. If you enjoyed this, smash that like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs it. Be a part of the Prestige family. My wife Lola and I have written 2 powerful books, Get My Marriage Back and Number One Red Flag. Yours free at manofprestige.com. For personal coaching, send me a WhatsApp request for consultation to +1 732 305 8577. Stay tuned for more. Your journey to love and prestige starts here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Welcome back. All right, so I set up the poll. I actually wanted to set it up on the other platform real quick too. So what we're seeing anyway is that Regina is still talking. She gives some more information, some more. She actually responded to a Showore's post as well. And she said, I'm going to read it to you. She said some things around, let me see here. Shout out to everybody watching on the vertical. Please make sure you hit the like button. Thank you. Let me see here. She says some things with regard, you know how Pa said he married her as within 3 weeks. All his wives, he married them within 3 weeks, and then he never marries anybody who is not a virgin. I'm not a virgin. How old is Regina Daniels? 24, 25. All right, so you could do a small math based off of everything we've said so far, and then we'll take a look at that before we end. All right, so let's see here. So that's been the argument. A lot of arguments around the age. You know, a lot of people saying, this man is he kept the evidence. He's a lawyer. You don't know. Lawyer John Nigerians do you for? No wonder they want all of us to become either lawyers or doctors. He's a lawyer. He's such an intelligent man. It's like nobody is questioning if he's intelligent, but you don't enter this one chance. This PR here, this PR mess right here, he has to clean up. Anyway, so I'm looking at this post. Let's look at this together. Let's look at it together. It says, thank you so much, sir. She was responding to a post by Shore, I think. Yeah, let's look at this one. It says, thank you so much, sir. My now ex-husband's worst enemy is now fighting beside me. Who was the now ex-husband worst enemy? That's Shore. We reviewed the beginning, the genesis of Shore's relationship with Ned and Regina on other segments, so you might want to review that. We talked about, we said, what is Shore's business in all of this, right? That was the question. We answered it in there. They have history, right? So she goes on that Shore. It looks like she said, thank you. It's a screenshot though. I couldn't see this on Shore's page myself, but maybe it's on Twitter somewhere. Said, thank you so much, sir. My now ex-husband's worst enemy is now fighting beside me. It's sad, but I love and appreciate it. Sir, let's also have it on record that I was the foolish one, made foolish mistakes, and now have to bear the consequences and still stand my ground. Okay, I don't know. Does that sound like accountability to you? Okay, because many people that are on the side of Ned, they swear that this girl is not being accountable. But maybe they need her to, I don't know what they need her to do exactly, but they're asking for her to leave Ned alone. And the other side is saying, no, Ned needs to leave her alone. Anyway, so she said, I was the foolish one that got pregnant for the madman, hence the quick marriage. That's why he hates the said tiny devilish Anne, because she made me remove it before my mom knew. Shamba 4. I'm sorry, everyone, but the man is a goat. Plus, y'all can call me a pained ex that just wants to be free. Is she lying? Do you believe her, or she's just lying? Somebody said, the old Daniels family, they are liars. We can't believe anything that's coming from them. Okay, so how do we assess it? Because me too, I'm struggling to explain what I'm trying to say, because I don't want it to come off as I'm taking sides with Regina, because I promise you that's not it. Okay, I think it's more so, I think men need to be a little bit more responsible. Okay, because of people like Regina. What did Regina do when she was a child? I don't care if she was 23, actually. She was a child. She's obviously, she's still not matured. Right? So I desire so badly that men be responsible, but they're interpreting that as you are taking sides as Regina. They're basically playing the victim. And it doesn't pan out well when you play the victim in this kind of cases. Our society is not set up that way. Okay. So they see this kind of post, they see him more as a victim. Say, this girl is lying. Actually, we don't know that. We don't know that. In fact, there was nothing that the only statement I assessed from that came out of Paned's page, I analyzed it for emotional intelligence. That's all I did. I have no facts. I can't say he did something, or you didn't hear me say he committed the domestic violence. I can say things like it's believable. I can say things like, oh, he liked her getting high before they get down in the other room. I can say things like that. But I said it's believable. I don't know that for a fact. I can just tell you what I feel is believable. So now she's leaking that information for the first time. She's saying she got pregnant for him before the mom knew. But Paned is claiming that the mom brought her to the living room. But we were not there. Do you think the mom brought her to the living room and that was the first time he will meet her, and then 3 weeks later he married her? I bet this man had been sleeping with this young girl before they try to make it official. Did she get pregnant? Okay, my guess is as good as yours. I don't know. Anyway, there's more. There's more, definitely somewhere. Let me see. Okay, so this is what Paned says. It has come to my attention that false claims are being circulated by Regina, suggesting that I married her when she was 17 years old. These claims are entirely untrue and misleading. For clarity, during my first meeting with Regina, I asked her age, and she told me she was 21 years old. I further asked if she had any document to substantiate this, and she presented her INEX voters card that she was 21 at the time. Clearly shows that she was born October 1998. I informed her that I would keep this daddy. Okay, did Baba forget when he first said she was 18 before? Okay. Anyway, I have also seen the BBC interview her mom granted after our marriage regarding her marriage. According to all verifiable records, our marriage took place 6 years ago, which means Regina is 27 years old today. Any suggestion that I married her at 17 is false and should not be accepted by the public. The facts are verifiable and undisputable. Until this is done, I urge the public to approach all her claims with caution and discernment, especially talking to... Okay. All right, so that's that. Let me see here. Am I going small by small? Okay, we're going small by small. It's okay, it's okay. Let me read this first comment here, then I'll come to the chat. Let me check the chat, make sure. Okay. Okay, I see you guys talking. I'll check it out in a second. Somebody said the more she talks, the more it proves that drugs has been part. Okay, that's what somebody gets out of that. Somebody said, and now the 17, he take marry you. More truth, know that this girl mouth. Okay. So those are two people that don't believe that she was 17 because she claims she married at 17. Okay. Baba said She presented a 21-year-old voter's card. He kept record of it. Okay. So somebody said he's the victim. They presented false information to him. So he is the victim. Somebody said here, the more she's trying to prove, let me see here. Sabi Radio says, I got pregnant for Ned at 17, hence the quick marriage. My friend Anne made me abort the pregnancy before my mother-in-law. Okay, that's the little Anne girl. Regina Daniels shares shocking. Okay, that's the caption. Somebody said, the more she's trying to prove a point just to get at the man, the more she sounds so foolish. She doesn't even care if what she's saying makes sense anymore. She just wants to play the victim card so bad. Girl, you're not innocent. Here's the problem with that. She must sound foolish, but they're going to add all of this together if it comes to court. If she's presenting this, she might be much more composed. And bottom line is that no matter how foolish she sounds, it's still tarnishing this man's reputation. The lesson here is that a Regina should not do what she's doing as a Regina. The lesson here is that make sure you do not enter this kind of person's trap, because when it gets down to dragging, they will drag everything you've worked for all your life right through the mud. Now, I'm not saying Regina is not a victim. The point here is that Ned is not exactly the victim you think he is. Regina and her family are mannerless. God forbid, same man you open that legs for, born those kids, shame on you. I mean, we've been saying the same thing a few days ago about Ned. But I guess he's responding, right? He wanted to. Somebody said, I don't think he wants that Kwekus back. If he wanted that back, he wouldn't be dragging her. Okay. Good point. Anyway, let me see. Before I continue into this part right here, let me read your comments. Eunice says she's more than innocent. Mara says we're all confused, MOP. They want her to suffer. Toby and Tribe says most people against Regina are either those that got upset because she tried to advise Nigerians and call them children, and the others that feel she's gold digger. So karma has come for her, as far as they're concerned. Wala. Was this Ron's gone bad? I'm confused. Maybe. There's more. Wait, it could be actually. That's why my stance has been like Paned and the Paned's wannabes. You cannot afford to be focusing on blaming this girl. What you need to look for is, how can I avoid this kind of situation? But of course, you want to play the victim, competing against her so badly, and that's why you go collect. Okay, because yours may not look like a voter's card. It will look a little bit of a different way, but you will enter one chance because you're using your emotions to think. Okay. Anyway, let's keep going. Eunice says she wants to destroy her so she can run back to him. Who is she? Who is she that you're talking about here that wants to destroy her? There's a name for people that molest minors in developed countries. Exactly. So I think don't end up in a situation where you're being accused of potentially molesting a minor. That should be the lesson. That should be the greatest lesson here. Okay? Because if she's in fact a Ron's girl, there's going to be Ron's girl. And many of them, the reality, especially, not only in Nigeria, by the way, there are teenagers that make up IDs here. They will go and create IDs. They used to enter club. Yes. Oh, you never knew that. Oh, yes. They're everywhere. Don't think this is just Nigeria. Don't you think for a second that this is just Nigeria. This is not just Nigeria. All right. Guys, let me pay a little bit of bills. I'll be right back.
This is Ola, man of prestige, your favorite relationship and marriage coach. If you enjoyed this, smash that like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs it. Be a part of the Prestige family. My wife Lola and I have written 2 powerful books, Get My Marriage Back and #1 Red Ride, yours free at manofprestige.com. For personal coaching, send me a WhatsApp request for consultation to +1 732 305 8577. Stay tuned for more. Your journey to love and prestige starts here.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. We're still talking about Regina Daniels and Ned. Nedu. Nedu. So there's this post here on Legit NG. It says, fix doctor's report. Regina Daniels' elder brother, Sweezzy, has accused her estranged husband, Ned NWOKO, of fabricating medical papers. So as you know, they've been flaunting around a medical records paper. They've been doing that for the last 48 hours or so. But I don't think I've covered it here. I'll see if I can cover it here in a second. It says in a post circulating on social media, Sweezzy described the trendy medical document attributed to Regina as fake. Remember, a lot of people already feel like Regina's family are liars. All of them, every single one, including the one in London and the one in jail. Well, the one in jail is out now, okay? Except the father. They have empathy for the father. Nigerians have empathy for fathers. I think that's beautiful. I think that's beautiful. I also think it's a setup, though. I don't think men can afford to play victims. You guys can probably tell already. I don't think we can, because it creates a massive blind spot and unrealistic expectations, if you will. I just think it's dangerous. Anyway, it's the same thing that extends to where women will say, why can't men will bottle so much in? You two should be vulnerable. That's what you are doing to our sons. I teach my son to be able to cry in public just for no reason. Just cry like a woman in public for no reason. Right. Okay. Why do you want your son to cry so badly? Oh my God. First of all, men do cry. Okay, that's the reality. Men do cry when it's necessary. It's not a thing to cry. But they're easy. What do you mean cry? Just wake up in the middle of the night and start crying because we're depressed? Because we feel sad? Is that what you mean? Like, why do you need to see that so badly? No, if somebody's mother passes away or a family member, close member, family, they do cry. That's the reality. Okay, but men also have responsibilities when it comes to society. So there's very little room to cry for no reason at all. So Sweezzy claimed that Regina's authentic personal records bear her father's surname, Ojogu. Okay, that's a good point. Now let me look at the voter's card real quick. Let me see if he's saying Daniels or Ojogu. If he's saying Daniels, if the voter's card is saying Daniels, we got a problem. The voter's card said Daniels. That's a problem. Let me shut it down, not to put it up for too long. The voter's card does say Daniels. That says that 1998, that's coming from before 2019 when they got married. But then who named? I thought he said he gave her a name. Is that the Daniels name? Let's leave that alone for now. Anyway, the young man, Regina Daniels' brother, is saying Sweezzy's name. He said he further advised NWOKO to desist from this falsifying behavior, adding that Regina never accompanied anyone to a registry, just in case a marriage certificate emerges online. In the later part of his message, Sweezzy accused NWOKO of using his health challenges to manipulate the actress. According to him, your kidney failure has been your technique for always saying sorry to Regina after abusing her. Regina stated you've always blackmailed her with your illness. He concluded by saying he never supported their relationship but could only offer advice as a brother. Okay. I can see that. Another person, obviously fake, as no hospital would release such documents to the public domain. It's unethical and they will never have countered it publicly if it's true in the first place. The hospital has come out and countered that document too. This is the document we're talking about right here. How are we doing in the chat, ladies and gentlemen? How are we doing? Uni said people should stop blaming her for escaping an abusive relationship. Mara said, no more. Keep it all in. Plix. Oh my God.
Please.
All right. Let this the hospital released an official statement. They said, okay, thank God this is not the statement from this is not the original public record. This is the official public statement saying our attention has been drawn to recent online publications alleging that Nizamiye Hospital conspired with certain individuals to fabricate medical reports. We categorically state that these allegations are entirely false, baseless, and misleading. Nizamiye Hospital operates with the highest standards of medical ethics and professionalism in full compliance with the guidelines of the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria, MDCN, and all relevant regulatory bodies. We do not and will never engage in any form of medical malpractice, falsification of records, or actions that compromise our integrity and the trust placed in us by our patients and the public. We therefore urge members of the public to disregard these unfounded claims. Those responsible for spreading such misinformation are hereby advised to desist from doing so, as Nizamiye Hospital reserves the right to take appropriate legal action against any person or entity that continues to defame our institution. Okay, all right. There's an ambiguity. Can anybody guess? There's some kind of ambiguity in this message. Can anybody guess? Can anybody pick it up? Did anybody pick that up from what I just read? Marriott, did you pick up the ambiguity? What exactly are they talking about? What exactly are they debunking here? Okay, I can't see any explicit reference. The only thing I can tell you is that I'm reading this directly from the pages of that hospital. This is their Instagram page. You say here, it says attention, and then Regina Daniels is there clapping. But there's still some kind of ambiguity in this, right? This message did not say that whatever is in that report is untrue. This message is saying the idea that we conspired with certain individuals to fabricate medical reports is not true. Those are two different facts that they're that needed separate type of debunking. Now they said they are professional. Okay, professional to what extent? Now I don't think a reputable hospital will release information, but it almost seems like they did not directly debunk that information. So I don't know what to take out of that. I don't know what to take out of that. Let me see. Another one here on Regina's page. Disclaimer: our attention has been drawn to a post on an alleged midterm home detox report being circulated online in the name of Serenity Royal Hospital with respect to Mrs. NWOKO Regina. Okay, this one is actually specifying. We wish to state clearly that the publication and circulation of the said post containing classified information did not emanate from us, and respectfully request the public to disregard same. We remain committed to high standard medical practice with huge commitment to ensuring medical confidentiality. Thank you, management. Thank you for this. Knowing the owner of this hospital being a family friend made me almost go crazy and sue you. But thanks for standing by the truth amidst knowing your big fish in the family, saving your hospital and just doing the right thing. Okay. All right. Let me come to the chat. What do you guys believe thus far? What do you believe so far? Any special information? What do you believe? It could be rogue staff. MOP. Like maybe the real information was released or it wasn't released that day, but the Serenity Hospital, I think, is a behavioral place, and they have now debunked whatever is floating out there, and they referenced her name. Very, very important. All right. Very important. There's a post here. Let me read this one. It says, he loves Gina, but the love was a toxic love. And Regina Daniels answered it. She said, now this, I will reply, yes, I think you love me, but a toxic one. I think you love me, but a toxic one. Because tell me why a polygamous man forgot what it meant to be in polygamy. Except for the media, just because it boosted his ego of being seen with multiple women, which is okay by me, because anyone that sees a man as an odogu sees the white as what? I practically had to beg that he shares days at hours and other days with his other wives because they begged for his attention. You should please forget this year social media comparison because my ex-man never slept outside one day in our 7 years of marriage. You know why? Because as a Delta babe, I hold him well for the other room. Ladies, use your skills. That's all men want, actually. Hey, wait, what? This is what somebody read and said, that girl was not a virgin. That girl was not a virgin when she was married. I said, wait, you have to choose one side. Do you believe Uncle Ned NWOKO when he said I married a virgin within 3 weeks, or you don't? You have to choose one belief. You cannot be on two sides at the same time. That's very confusing. To those of us that have deemed you, you need to pick a side. Pick one. Do you believe him or you don't believe him? Was she a virgin or was she a virgin? Now, in this case, now she was a wife. She said for 7 years, he never slept outside one day. In fact, the rest of them were begging for his attention. I know, he just interpreted me saying I believe. I didn't say I believe her. I'm saying that's what she said. That's what she said. Regina is doing explanations. Explanations.
You go explain because no evidence.
No evidence whatsoever. Are you asking me for proof? Take time. Don't ask me for a proof or evidence there because I don't have time. I do not have time. Somebody is tired. So I said, victory meaning Paned is having broken heart. Oh, sorry, Paned. So I said, I beg now, we don't tire. Everything I know about this couple was against my will. It did everywhere. I beg, I don't want to laugh. At this point, they all love clouds. Okay. I mean, listen, the lesson is not driven in yet for me. I think a lot of people, anyway, I'll go explain.
You go explain because no evidence.
No evidence. No evidence. So let me see if there's a comment here. Okay, so in continuation of Sweezzy, the brother debunking, is Sweezzy younger than her? I wonder, is he younger than her? I know the other gentleman, Sammy, is older. Okay, so he threw some questions. Says, what samples were given to the hospital and how were they collected? Or is this your own results? Ending his statement, Sweezzy wrote that he had said his piece, urging, let old behave like old and let young behave like old, if possible. The hospital at the center of the alleged medical report has also issued a disclaimer saying they debunked it, I guess. Let's read this one. Okay. About the voters card. Sweezzy is debunking the voters card. Fake doctor's report, fake marriage certificate, fake voters card. The voters card was printed in Ned NWOKO's sitting room at Uboko. Not the sitting room. Do you believe that voters card was printed in the sitting room? The only thing is that all the other documents, the passports, the international passport, the two shows her name, her maiden name, right? Her full legal name, right? Ojagu, right? But the voters card shows Daniels. And the only information I don't have right now is that is Daniels the name that Ned gave to her? That's the part I don't know. If somebody can clarify that for me, that would be nice. Either way, The fake name, the fake stage name seems to be what is on voters card. Uncle Ned's evidence that she was born in 98, that she's in fact 27 years old today. And Shore, who also has his own motives, of course, who has been dragged over the past 24 hours on this matter. They said it's what did they call him? Somebody called him a name today. I said, I'm not sure. When they are blind, they are blind. Okay. There's in fact this hey, let me leave it alone. Let's leave it alone. I want to be nice. I just want to cover the reports. Voters card was printed. Ned NWOKO's sitting room at NWOKO. That's our only document that carries Daniels. All other documents carries Ojogo. In the court of law, the oldest document will be presented in for evidence purposes. I'd advise you desist from this falsifying behavior and be upright. Regina never went with you to any registry just in case you post the fabricated marriage certificate too. Well, it's a polygamy. Is there a marriage certificate for polygamy? I don't know. Regina was born in 2001, October 10th. You might need to tell the world what happened when Regina first introduced you, Ned NWOKO, to me in May 2019. I was never in support, never ever, but as now my blood decision no yawa, I can only give advice like a brother and not dictate like you do. Your kidney failure has been your technique. Okay, we read that earlier, right? Myself or any of my siblings has never been involved in the intake of cocaine because the reports they were pushing said they were involved in cocaine, in marijuana, in opioids, in all type of stuff. That's what the report says. Quick question for Mr. Ned NWOKO. What samples were given to the hospital? I rest my case. Hello, I have a call from the hospital. Document was fabricated and it didn't come from them. Okay, that's the screenshot. Listen. Oh, wait, guys. All right, so here's what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to pay some bills, refresh, so you can hear the audio because the way it's set up right now, you might not hear it, okay? So let's pay some bills and I'll be right back. It's Friday night, right? Shout out to all of you watching live. I'll be right back.
This is Ola, man of Prestige, your favorite relationship and marriage coach. If you enjoyed this, smash that like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs it. Be a part of the Prestige family. My wife Lola and I have written 2 powerful books, Get My Marriage Back and Number 1 Red Flag, yours free at manofprestige.com. For personal coaching, send me a WhatsApp request for consultation to +1 732 305 8577. Stay tuned for more. Your journey to love and prestige starts here.
So we are not part of their saga, and then we'll do that immediately. Please put that in now, sir, because they were calling. Oh, okay. We have to release the station.
Was I muted? I was muted though, and I was doing all that drama. Wala. I was muted. Okay, let me act it again. They were saying Ned is a smart, there's a comment I was reading here. Okay, I'll go back. I have to act it all over again. Somebody said, can these people just go to court or do this case legally and do this case legally so everyone could be free? Okay, that's what somebody said. All right, so I now said, well, they will probably go to court, but they have to set it up properly because there's a good chance, considering Nigeria as a society, he has bought everybody over at the court. So they have to make sure it's set up properly, right? But you have to rest and be patient. And I said, because now the same people, they say he's a lawyer, he's a fine lawyer, he knows he's a smart, intelligent lawyer. He knows what he's been collecting evidence since 1958. He knew that one day he will marry Regina. So he was collecting voters cards since 1958 for his Regina Daniels' wife. So because he knew that one day Regina Daniels will try to get him. So now he's ready. Anyway, the point is that they have to make sure that it's set up properly if they're going to go to court. That was what I was responding to. So sorry about that. But Marriott also says, why would our stage name be on our passports, right? But it's on the voter's card that was presented by Panet as the evidence that she's now today 27 years of age. I don't know what to believe, but I support Regina to be free. Or that's so sweet of you, Marriott. That's so sweet. Anyway, that's that one. Remedy blog. This is a disclaimer. All the fake stuff. I'm just reading some of the comments. So now another crime added to Chinedu's crimes is forgery. Senator, come and drag them because they believe that he has a case in courts. I personally don't think there's much case in courts. Okay, outside of fabricated nonsense, typical that they would do to punish the people they want to oppress, I don't think there's any case in court. This is a family matter. Outside of family court, there's no case. She's telling her story. You call it defamation because you're obsessed, because you think you know it all. In the real world, that's not how it works. She can tell her story because she was in that family and she was there for 6 years and she has children. So you might be silencing her. Okay. Let me see here. That's the disclaimer. All right. So the toxic. So that's the update. Just debunking the voters card. A lot of argument around the age. A lot of arguments around the age, essentially. First wife. This is Ned NWOKO's first wife, barrister. No public record of the second wife. This is Ijesha NWOKO, third wife. Okay. I see a pattern here. This Layla, fourth wife. Layla, fourth. Is Layla different from Lillian? Please, somebody help me. Is Layla different from? Okay. Let's keep going. So the six wives of Ned NWOKO, this is first wife. Ned NWOKO, first wife, barrister Lily NWOKO. Why do their names all start with L? Except Regina. She's an epitome of beauty. Ned NWOKO sabi better thing. Okay. That's the first wife. There's no public record of second wife anywhere. But this is the third wife, Ijesha NWOKO. Very private as well. And then coming up is Layla Sharani NWOKO, fourth wife, model, married in 2011, 4 kids from Morocco. Okay. And then that's the same person, right? Layla, right? And then there's a Lena, fifth wife. I didn't know about this person. Also from Morocco. I didn't know. Okay. Lena NWOKO, fifth wife. Oh, Dogu. Okay. And then, of course, Lena, this one now in Bokwakota, and then you have the sixth wife who has since scattered everything. This girl, she scattered everything. Well, she tried smaller. 6 years. And she said he slept with her every night. Well, when he's around, I guess, for all of 7 years. Yeah, they said he married 2 Moroccans. Okay, so yeah, I think this is interesting. I think let me see what this person is saying.
Let's not beat around the bush. That's the reason for her age. For her to
Let's go back. Let's go again.
marry such a man, you should know it's because of money. And
she said, from her marriage to marry such a man, she knows it's because of money.
Her mother is the engineer, and that's the truth. So let's say it. So, but not because I'm a parent. So certainly there are some certain things your kids want to do. You are the number one person, especially if they are friends. And if you see Regina and her mom, they are friends. Yes. So immediately when Ned eyed her, she come back and then, "Mommy, Ned, I knew." Then yes, that's what happened. So let's say it the way it is, because it's on social media. It's not that we are making it up. He said it himself. Then secondly, as a person, I don't know who Ned is. Then I want to explain something. Sorry to just a little story, because I want to take it in a different way. I'm not siding anybody, but I just want you guys to understand that the guy has so much influence on Regina. Because for me, very dark man, sorry to bring him up, went to China. That man, is he Rose or what's his name? Regina married Ned because of his money. God bless you.
All right, so just another person dragging Regina. But let's be fair, they're also dragging Ned NWOKO. I think most of us agree that you should let her go. Just let her go, right? Just let her go. So here's what I want to do, ladies and gentlemen. To round up today, I want to share 8 lessons. 8 lessons. Because I don't know. I think we've exhausted this. So we should finish with solid lesson before we move forward. You know what I mean? So I'm going to pay the bills, and then I'm going to come up with the lessons. All of us can gain good stuff from the lessons. I had shared a little small version of this on Uncle Ben's show, but I think all of us can learn from this. Okay. Yeah, I'll be right back.
This is Ola, man of prestige, your favorite relationship and marriage coach. If you enjoyed this, smash that like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs it. Be a part of the Prestige family. My wife Lola and I have written 2 powerful books, Get My Marriage Back and Number 1 Red Flag, yours free at manofprestige.com. For personal coaching, send me a WhatsApp request for consultation to +1 732 305 8577. Stay tuned for more. Your journey to love and prestige starts here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Welcome back. So with all this brouhaha stories from all the saga, the series has been quite long. Regina Daniels, she no longer wants to be the 6th wife of Honorable Senator Ned NWOKO of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and he's been a big mess on the internet for the past several days. Since October 18, they've thrown each other under the bus. He's accused her of drug allegations, drug abuse, alcohol abuse. The 5th wife has come out and said and accused her of lesbianism, that she slept with every girl around her, that she also lured her into drugs, and she also almost lost her place in the marriage. And basically, I think we can probably safely conclude she's not going back. But hey, in Nigeria, anything is possible, right? So, but we've been covering it. We've talked a lot. There's a lot of things we've covered in terms of lessons and things like that. The general public outside of the Prestige family, they're focused on who has the best chance to win in court. I'll let them have that. Me, I'm not a lawyer. I am not a legal practitioner. I do not understand all the way how that thing works. I operate from a place of common sense, but at a professional level, I also tend to operate from a place of self-empowerment and emotional intelligence. So I'm going to be tackling this from that standpoint, okay? Not legalities. I don't know what anything can happen in court. Court completely depends on evidence. I do not need evidence here to extract these lessons. Okay? So without any further ado, let's get to some of these lessons. The first one is power is seductive, but it's fragile. Okay, power is seductive, but it's fragile. Okay, so obviously that's not one-sided. That's not a one-sided thing. There's power on both sides in a romantic relationship. There's power on both sides in a romantic. That's why they came together. That's part of the things that creates attraction. But when relationship inevitably falls in a place of crisis, sometimes you find out very quickly that power is tilted to one side. And what side would that be? Well, there's usually somebody feeling abused, and the other person is not necessarily doing that intentionally. They might be doing it from a place of being vindictive, but they're not always self-aware enough to know that they're doing it. Sometimes they're being wicked. That's just minority of the time. Majority of the time, they're just also, it's a coping thing. They're trying to protect themselves, but inevitably they are being abusive to their partner. And most of us, we tend to focus on, when we find ourselves in that place, especially for the first time or first few times, we now start to look at our partners as the enemy. And when you look at your partners as the enemy, you feel attacked, and naturally you defend. And your defense is coming off as offensive on the other side. So now you have an effective basketballs, and it's going to take one person rising above the occasion. Majority of the world will wait for it takes two to tango. I cannot be fixing a relationship when the other person is not doing the work. The other person has given up a long time ago. They're probably just tired. A lot of times it's the man who gave up. Newsflash, a lot of times it's the man who gave up, actually. You call it silent treatment, but maybe he just can't get across to you and he's tired and he's given up on that. And he's hoping that maybe something will change one day. Well, if you keep doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different results, that's called insanity. If you don't change it, it's probably not going to change. If anything, they will get used to your silent treatment, and then it becomes a very toxic cycle. But change is inevitable. Change is constant. So something is going to burst in there one day and destroy everything for Ona if you don't fix it. So don't think it's going to keep going like that forever. At some point, and some people already know that. Some people already kind of know that. So they're just waiting for the right time. That's why you have the empty nester. So power is, in fact, seductive. I digress. Power is seductive. And when you have people that have money, position, fame, for example, in the case of Regina, she has the power in the form of fame. They think they can control the outcome. They can have the illusion that they can control the outcome. And when you put that in the context of emotions and relationships, it's a very destructive thing. You know, power can be very destructive. So power without emotional intelligence is likely going to feel more fire, and probably the whole thing is going to crash and burn. So let's just keep that at the back of our mind. So it doesn't matter what side you fall on here. Don't think you're exonerated. Don't play the victim. Playing the victim is going to hurt you more. Because in love and war, I've said this a few times in this series, in love and war, all is fair. So I will say the same thing to Paned. I will also say the same thing. Let me remove this guy from the screen since we're not talking about him. This is a weirdo paystack guy. Give me 1 second, guys. Regina and NWOKO. The second lesson here, real quick, while I'm doing that, is this. In the social media age, silence is strategy. Okay, silence is not just as simple as let me be silent. Silence is not just as simple as let me speak louder. You need strategies around that. You need to have strategy around that. Particularly if you have a lot to lose. The more you have to lose, the more. So if you have reputation, if you have friends that you wouldn't want them to see certain information on the internet, it's very important that you don't just jump on the internet and start, quote unquote, telling your story. You have to be careful with that. Now, I have said that Regina probably needs this noise. because of how powerful that man is when it comes to politics in Nigeria and when it comes to how dysfunctional Nigerian politics is. She probably needs to make that noise, but they still need to draw some kind of strategy around that, because if they don't, these people can be cold and heartless. But the same thing, the same advice will go for Uncle Ned. For Uncle Ned in 1960, these stories, of course, you will be able to control the narrative by simply releasing a few statements that will be published. It will probably go far as you want, intact. Nobody would have touched the information. But this time and age is a little bit different because everybody has these devices. Everybody is a media house. And the stories that you're trying to control is no longer just something you can't control in that way. You need strategy around that. Okay, every screenshot, every VDM style screenshot, as much as I know that the majority of those screenshots are made up, they're stupid, they're not evidence, but they are powerful because they do control the narrative more than you can control the narrative. So all you need is VDM to slap one screenshot on top of his head like this. A bunch of rattles will take and run with it and becomes the truth. Somebody said, that's so stupid. That's the worst I've ever heard. What do you mean the truth is the truth? It's not going to be truth. No, you're delusional. That's what you are, delusional. Okay? The reality is that everything you call truth today is been formulated, it's been pre-programmed over a period of time. And if you can't see that far, exactly. Exactly. So any form of screenshots, emotional posts will become global evidence. That's the reality today. Even if it's not truth, they become evidence. And the internet does not have a forget button. There's no real delete button in this internet spaces. All we have is receipts. Let's move on to lesson number 3. This is valid for all of us. Okay. Entitlement ruins empathy. What do I mean by entitlement ruins empathy? Whether we're talking about Uncle Ned's feelings, his followers' feelings, which they claim it doesn't exist, he said the rest of us should not get sentimental and emotional. Okay. Whether we're talking about any of those feelings, okay, the entitlement to control, okay, I know Nigeria still has a lot of the, just control your wife and okay, one day for the owner, every day for the thief, okay? The entitlement to this idea of fairness is going to destroy empathy, okay? Okay, both sides lose humanity in the name of they want to play fairness because they can't see, they lack self-awareness, right? Entitlement will blind reflection because you feel entitled to another person's life. You're unable to reflect. Okay? When you're in a romantic relationship and you're going back and forth in all of these arguments, right? Everybody wants to win, right? Everybody wants to win, but guess what happens? Nobody wins when the family feuds. These are ancient sayings. They are timeless. It doesn't matter what era you find yourself. Even in the digital era, it is still true. Probably more so true than before. We're still human beings. Media is still media. Yes, it's now everybody's a house, a media house. But nonetheless, these concepts are still true. They are timeless. Let me quickly move on to lesson number 4. Reputation management. Okay, it's not the same. It's not equal to truth management. Okay, reputation management has nothing to do with who's telling the truth. Again, digital era. Okay, your reputation is just that flaky. They're very fickle. Okay, very, very fickle. You as the most powerful in the two equation, because I did another video where I talked about who is the biggest manipulator, because there has to be one manipulator in what we're trying to extract as lessons here. Reputation is not the same thing as truth. Oh, Jorawo. Okay, that's why we have what we call media When you rush to the internet, if you have any level of power, if you rush to the internet, so it's not even just the person with the greatest power, forget that part. If you have any kind of power, quote unquote reputation, your image, and you rush to the internet to go and defend your image, you're going to collect. You go collect. Okay? What you will end up doing is you will end up confirming people's suspicions. Because the people already made up their mind oftentimes what they think. For those of you who are emotional, calling yourself logical, okay?
You doing what?
People already made up their mind what they think. So you defending whatever you call your truth is just you confirming their bias for them. You're making it easy for them.
You are a mumu man.
Okay? You're making it easy for them. Don't rush to the internet. The internet is a form of media. It's a very dangerous media. It's a double-edged sword. If you don't know what you're doing, you're going to cut yourself. And that goes majorly for you old people who think you can silence people. Particularly for you, okay? People believe what they already believe. They are not the court of law they believe. But guess what? Their influence is powerful in the courts too, just in case you're delusional about that one as well. Okay, because it's human beings that will sit on those benches assessing whatever evidence you think you bring to those tables. That's why the court will say you're not allowed to talk in public. Sometimes if they see that it's too sensitive, it's too delicate, they'll say you're not allowed to talk in public, because then they can file what they call a contempt of court against you if you say anything. But the court also knows they can't stop the internet. So you as one individual cannot stop the internet. The only thing you can stop is yourself from keep fueling the internet. So they both need strategy again, because this idea of obsession with truth, you're going to tarnish and destroy your reputation because you're fueling the fire of the worst things against you that you're trying to defend. This one is key. This one is a major key. Let's move on to number 5. Shout out to Decamp Banyebo, says we need to see Regina birth certificate. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. When we do see it, we will review it, right? Number 5, marriage isn't ownership. This one should be obvious. We were talking about marriage all along. We're not talking about a court case between two random people. They were married couple. They have 2 kids. Everybody forgot about that. They started taking sides. This is why we tell you this all the time. Stop taking sides when it comes to conjugal matters. Stop it. This is why they will make up and then you become the enemy because you were picking sides.
Sorry.
Anyway, I do does not mean you own a person. In fact, when you said I do, you did not know shit and you were not doing shit and you're about to discover another phase of your life, and God helps you, you don't end up in divorce in 6 months' time or 8 years average lifespan of a marriage. Okay? You don't own them. Slow down completely. You have to love in a way that the other person feels free. Okay? And if you want to call it love, it must foster connection, not control. Okay? Controlling disconnects you from your partner. Controlling attitude disconnects you from your partner. You need to go and learn the difference between control and influence. What you want to have is the latter. Okay? Control is not something you decide or define. It's your partner that will tell you if you're controlling or not. And sometimes they will tell you a lie because they are also still actively trying to protect your feelings, particularly if you're like a Ned NWOKO who gets butt hurt very quickly by his wife. If you're that kind of person, the wife is going to protect you for a while, but eventually, eventually she'll gain courage. Especially in this era where the internet is going to present as a listening ear, a fake listening ear. She might gain some courage and then dump your ass like the rest of the 90% of women that are dumping men, initiating divorce. And then you come back and cry, and then you play victim, and then it gets worse. I'm telling you right now, there's no talking points you want to talk to me that we haven't heard already before. Go cinco titulabe orun. There's nothing new under the sun. The only thing you can do here is take a focus on yourself, work on yourself, so that more people will want to be around you than running away from you. Okay? So stop the idea of ownership. How do you know? Well, I'm not trying to own. I'm not talking about your intentions. Your intentions, instantly, as soon as you express them, they end up straight in the poto. I know you're a good person. You have great intentions, but your behavior is coming off as controlling to other people. Yes, they are liars too. They won't tell you the truth until sometimes it's too late. I know. Are you not supposed to read minds?
Not be juju be that.
I think you need to figure that out. You will need to figure that one out too. Okay, manipulation is not something you define by way of your intentions. I know you're a good person. I know you have good intentions. It's not good enough to just know your intentions. If your partner is saying they feel manipulated or they're acting like it, that's your source of truth when it comes to this topic. If you're struggling with that, you're discounting psychology, okay? And I feel sorry.
He shock you.
I feel sorry for you. You're discounting psychology. You're discounting emotions. Emotions no be your mates. You will end up in
McDonald's.
All right, so let's move on to number 6. We're doing it, guys. Social proof is not real proof. Okay, so let's reverse that real quick. Remember, we say reputation, truth are two different things. There are millions of monitoring spirits. We call them followers. 15 million on Instagram. All those 15 million people are following Panet too. He has only 1 million, but they're following too. 8 million on TikTok alone. Okay? They can't save you from a broken home. Last, you need strategy. You need to be careful with online applause. Okay? Online applause does not heal offline pain. Please know this and know peace. Any solution you get from using the opportunity of your online followers, they're all temporary. They're short term in nature. They can work, like I said. Regina might need that short term. Long term, she will need strategy than just jumping on the internet and just talking anyhow. But I get what she's doing right now against a Ned. Ned is a very powerful guy. He has a reputation. He has a pattern. We've reviewed all of that. Okay, he has this pattern of arresting people, even if he's in favor of Regina sometimes in the past. But it's dangerous. Social proof is not real proof. Anything you get from social media, they're usually short-term in nature. Please be careful. Please be careful when you run into this internet streets and you start thinking they love you. They do love you. They love you, but there's a big old but. I would just be careful with that. Every solution you get from the internet or any kind of public space, they're all temporary. The only work you're going to do or solution you're going to get that's permanent will come from the inside out. They have to align with the inside. If it involves the need for validation from the public, from the social media all the time, it's going to backfire.
Sorry.
All right, so where is Twice? I haven't seen the video from Twice in a while. I hope it's okay. Let's move on to number 7. The real court is public opinion. I know this is the part where I say, which one are you saying, Gogo, exactly? You seem like you're contradicting yourself. Okay, let me help you. Isolate each one of those lessons if you need to. Okay? Isolate them if you need to. The reality is that in 2025, social media is its own courtroom. Even though I said short term, but there's a short-term impact that have the power to destroy the rest of your life if you're not careful. It's the same talking, it's the same thing I'm saying. Okay, the same thing I'm saying. I'm just saying be careful. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Engagement. If your story is wild enough to create engagement, comments, thousands upon thousands of comments, including the ones that say, I'm tired of seeing this. I'm tired of seeing this. Can this one leave my timeline? Those people, yes, they're the most dangerous ones. And you know what the sentence is, right? Yeah, cancellation. Cancellation. It happened to Big Cosby. It happened to Diddy. Somebody said, but that's in America. That cannot happen in Nigeria. No, that's what America thought at one time. America thought that too, up to recently. This last one right here, Diddy was invisible. Nobody was touching that guy. Are you kidding me? He was bread and butter for big, powerful people. Nobody was going to touch him. That's what power does. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. They're there. So these stories, they don't go viral just because they're celebrities. No, it's because we can relate. Don't deceive yourselves. It's because we all can relate in one shape, form, or the other. We can relate at some level. It's either you feel like these women are getting away out of control, or you feel like men are controlling. It's one of the two. That's why they go viral. It's because you can relate at a personal level. Stop the absolute cap.
Stop the cap.
So with that being said, let's move on to last but not least lesson. Healing is winning. Actually, healing is greater than winning. The obsession to win, the obsession to be right is destroying marriages left and right.
Oh, you're right.
People would rather be right than be connected. There's a video I released earlier today. Go watch it. It's a short video. It's called I Married for the Wrong Reason. Yeah, there's no celebrity names in it, so they're not going to push it to you. Go and find it. It's on the channel. Okay? It's a short video. It's very important to watch that video. Marriages are destroying for two reasons. The two main reasons why marriages are destroying left and right. There are many, many reasons. Of course, they will tell you that it's infidelity, finance, and irreconcilable differences. That's what the courts will record, of course. But there are two reasons when you go beyond the symptoms. When you dig in deeper, there are two main reasons. What are the reasons? Unrealistic expectations and pride. Okay, there are two parts of our 4 focus points. You see it on the screen. Friendship, sex. Okay, focus on that. If you're in a marriage, focus on that. Yes, too. But as far as on the negative side of things, 3 and 4, expectations and pride. We all need a certain healthy level of ego, but like everything else, when it's too much, it's destroyed. When it hides in a blind spot, when you think I'm really a humble guy, I'm not really a prideful person like that. That's actually can be worse sometimes. That can be the worst type of pride sometimes, because that statement is actually coming from a place of pride. But let's translate that all the way into a marriage. The need to be right, the obsession with being right is anti-seductive behavior.
Oh, you're right.
If you are that right, you shouldn't need validation. You shouldn't need the other person to be right. Okay? If it's a matter of safety, physical safety, you should protect them. Yes, sure. If it's a matter of opinions, it's a matter of they just need to be right, allow them to be right now. Look, check yourself. Why is it that you struggle with not allowing them to be right? You feel like you're going to become a doormat. You feel like they always get away with it. Then if that's the case, if it's always, which I think is a lie, anytime you hear anything always or never,
Why the fuck you lying?
You always do this, you always do that.
Abba, you lie.
It's a lie by default. You need to self-reflect a little bit more. Let's get down to the truth. Let's get down to the truth. But those are the two destructive behavior in relationship. Healing is greater than winning. You don't need to win. You already won. They're in a relationship with you. Focus on healing. Focus on healing. It doesn't matter what phase of the relationship you're in, dating, relationship, talking stage, marriage, divorce, trying to remarry, try to do it right. It doesn't matter. All those things are just labels. If you want to do it sustainably over a period of time, a lifetime, hopefully, if you want to do it, focus on healing. Human beings, particularly, especially the one that love you the most, or they claim to love you, they will hurt your feelings sometimes. And when you resent, if it's bad enough, you resent and you're operating from that place of resentment, yes, you're going to self-destruct. You're going to destroy yourself.
Sorry.
You're going to destroy that relationship. Maybe you even feel like you don't need that relationship anymore. It's irrelevant. You need a relationship with yourself, a healthy relationship with yourself, because that's what is actually attracting everything that you're having in terms of experience. So it's not even about the other person. It's just that now you feel the need to focus on the other person because you feel they hurt your feelings. Hurt people. So you put all your focus, you put it on them. And you're justified. Remember, I told you already.
You're right.
You're right. You're right. But right people end up in divorce court all the time. Oh,
They use your function to play.
There are all kind of people who are right in divorce courts. I'm not asking you to take the high road. We go low, we go high. No, I'm telling you, you as an individual, put all the focus back on yourself. For once in your life, stop trying to prove yourself. Stop trying to bring out evidence for people who already made up their mind.
You think they're wise?
Stop it. We all do it, though. I'm just reminding us. I was talking to a person yesterday who I canceled, of course. And she lied. She told this lie. She had messed my reputation up there. She had told this other person, I was like, why are you chasing your own tail? Why are you doing this to yourself? Don't you think you deserve peace of mind? Don't you think you too, for once in your life, instead of trying to prove yourself so badly, don't you think you deserve this? The so-called soft life, peace of mind. They already made up their mind. If there's any kind of change of mind that's going to happen, it's not going to be by your effort of trying to prove yourself. In the same spirit you're trying to prove yourself, you collect records of wrongdoings, and then you expect love to thrive. Oh no, you forgot about love already.
I never spelled it.
You already told yourself there's no such thing as love. Love is a scam. I know. Yeah.
How, Sway?
Like I said, you're a liar. Like the rest of us, you are lying to yourself.
Abba, you lie. Sabi lie.
You crave what you crave. You crave connection like the rest of us. You want it so badly, you just don't know what you're doing. That's what's happening. You just don't know what you're doing. It's very simple. Where do I start from? Start from yourself. Start from yourself. If you think you're right, you're already right. Believe it for once.
You're right.
Just believe yourself for once. Just believe it for once. You're right. You're not in court. No, at least not yet. You're not in court. Just tell yourself like you're good, you're solid, you're upright. Whatever you need to tell yourself, affirmative things you can tell yourself. Go on ChatGPT, Google them, things you can say to yourself. And then you start to see that your mindset will start improving small by small. And then people will start seeing it in your life. And they want to be a part of that. They want to replicate it. They want to copy you. They want to be a part of taking care of you. But you don't take care of yourself. You walk around, you talk about your wife, your husband, to everybody what they did wrong and all this kind of stuff. Eventually, they stop picking up the phone. They stop picking up the phone. They were trying at first. They're like your friend, and they cry on their shoulder. But after a while, they start avoiding you. They say, they might not even say it out loud. They really want to help, but they're tired. They look at the phone, it rings. They say, it's about to start again. Let the poor breathe. Okay, I'm done, guys. Hopefully, you got some lessons out of Regina Daniel and Ned NWOKO. Well, I hope that was good. I hope you walk away with something. I hope it provoked you to actually think about you are great. You are a great individual entity. People want to be a part of your life. They want to be a part of your story, but they're struggling because you're not doing well for yourself. Refocus all that energy back on yourself. Do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. Have a great weekend. We'll talk soon. Bye now. Peace.
This is Ola, man of prestige, your favorite relationship and marriage coach. If you enjoyed this, smash that like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs it. Be a part of the Prestige family. My wife Lola and I have written 2 powerful books, Get My Marriage Back and #1 Red Flag, yours free at manofprestige.com. For personal coaching, send me a WhatsApp request for consultation to +1 732 305 8577. Stay tuned for more. Your journey to love and prestige starts here.